Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Good afternoon and welcome into Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. You're watching along with us on CST, on YouTube. 104.5 ESPN is a channel. Go subscribe. Any of the former interviews that we've done, you can get them on Hanging with Hester and Hanny page, also on YouTube. How you doing?
What's up, Hanny? How you doing? How's your mood today?
My mood is good.
Okay.
I don't have anything in the first segment that is really what you would classify as great news, but I don't know that any of it is unsuspecting. You know, hey, let's say hello to the staff here. Cade Wazan, audio producer today. Paul O'Neill, video producer, and Playboy Marty, nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs with his Phoenix Suns on the brink today. Lots of scenarios. We'll let him speak later. He's dressed out in all purple and orange today.
Yeah, didn't see a lot of that before the bubble.
Hester called him a front runner, but they have a chance to get in today. Today's the last day of the lead-in games, the pre-playoffs bubble today. Phoenix has to win and needs some help. We'll get to that in a little bit. Also get to Peter Burns in the second segment today here in about 15 minutes from the SEC Network. Evan Moore from Fox Sports and the Pac-12 Network will be with us at the bottom of the hour. Former Auburn coach Gene Chizik will be with us, of course, also with the SEC Network. He'll be with us at 2 o'clock. Hunt Palmer is with us in the 1 o'clock hour, and we're still working some stuff. The Southland Conference this morning announced, well, we'll let you hear it from the commissioner, Tom Burnett himself.
The Southland Conference Board of Directors has approved a postponement of all league competition in our sports, our fall sports, football, volleyball, soccer, and cross country, with the intention of playing these conference games, matches, and meets in the spring semester. Institutions, if they choose to do so, may play fall competitions. Currently, I will tell you, our football teams still have 12 opponents scheduled from other conferences, just as an FYI.
All right. And the reason I played the clip was the last part right there. The idea that the Southland Conference is canceling does not come as a huge shock to anybody. At this point, any conference canceling does not come as a huge shock to anybody. It was the last part that caught my attention. So if I'm hearing him right, the conference is okay with it needs to cancel a season, and that's safety concerns. The clip is longer, right, but that's the gist. But they can still play these games in individual settings. So in other words, if Nichols could get LSU to agree to it, they could still play as far as the Southland is concerned. Southeastern could have played Tulane. They were scheduled to open the season. How do you get around that? Please tell me.
That was almost shocking when I heard it, Hanny, because everybody else has gone to the other model. We want to only play conference games because we want to control everything that we can control. And the verbiage on that made it seem like, hey, we're not going to play those conference games. But if you can find a money game,
if you can find plenty money.
If you can find a money game to play, hey, call the ACC. Call anybody that's a +1. You've got some G5s that are actually +4. So there's plenty of games actually out there that they could find. I mean, the Sun Belt could basically adopt the Southland Conference teams and play a full schedule.
Well, the Big 12 also is got one non-conference game on their schedule. But at what payday? Because you're not going to be able to put fans in the stadium. So does it become any kind of moneymaker for you at all? But the point I'm making is you shut it down for safety. But if the price tag's high enough, I mean, that's what I heard. If the price tag's high enough, we'll play. Because if it's not safe to play conference games, it's safe to go play somebody that'll cut you a big check.
Do you think there's going to be teams in the G5 that are going to make it worth the while of the Southland teams?
No.
Like what kind of money? Because they're losing so much money, Hanny, as you just mentioned, because of ticket sales and other revenue generators. Now, hear me out. The one thing that we talked about yesterday was ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Network could say, you know what, we've got to fill our schedule because we lost our early kickoff in the Big Ten. We lost our late kickoff in the Pac-12 after dark. Could they potentially throw some money at some G5 league schools to play those games in those time slots, and then that's where maybe the money can come from?
I can't imagine that those networks want those games. And so
they don't want them, but you'll take what you can get.
I understand that they're trying to fill programming, but there's only so much appetite for Southland games against teams that are going to annihilate them on the field. But even if that were true, even if that were possible, let's say for a moment, let's use the LSU Nicholls game because that one would have been played here in November. Let's for a moment pretend that the SEC was going to allow one non-conference game, and let's further take the fantasy down the road. Kate, I hate to do all this with you listening, so I'm sorry. Let's further take the fantasy down the road and say LSU wanted to take their one non-conference game and make it Nicholls and would give them with no fans in the stadium, would give them $500,000 to come do this thing. You're going to tell Nicholls State to practice from now until November. Hell, let's get real creative and put the game in early October or late September. You're going to tell them to practice for 2 months, play one game, practice for 2 more months, and then gear up for a football schedule in the spring? Really? Does that sound safe to you? Does that in any way sound practical to you?
No, not at all, but nothing sounds practical.
Well,
and I know
enough.
that, I respect Jeff Brom a ton, the head coach of Purdue, and I know he laid out his plan, and everybody's like, oh, my gosh, look at this plan. I mean, it can be done, and you swayed our vote. We believe in a spring season. I'm like, what did he – I mean, yeah, it was well done, but it was everything that we thought it would be as far as dates and when you would play things. And he put a couple of colored dots on there, and people were amazed by it. It's like, no, there's still hurdles. I heard Ryan Clark earlier today on ESPN talking about the same things that we've talked about, playing that many games in one calendar year and player safety. If that's truly the biggest thing, well, player safety, that would be very difficult to do. And the injuries and all the things we've talked about, Hanny, I don't have to go back over the list. I mean, we know how many holes the spring season would have in it. So that's an even crazier timeline if you tried to play fall, spring, a little mixed match. Let's do a little of this, a little of that.
I would be very surprised if there are any individual games that are played out of the South. Cancel it. We understand why you cancel in the fall. We've been through this.
And they held on. Now, the Southland did hold on, and we talked about it for a very long time. It almost had a feel like they were going to do it because we know that's a very proud football conference and a very good one as well. When you look at every team within the conference, I mean, there's competitive teams all over the place, and they kind of rotate, the waves that they go in. So it's not just one team necessarily dominating. And so we thought if any FCS division could do it, any conference could do it, we thought the Southland could pull it off.
So that bit of sobering news, but again, it's not completely unexpected. The other news that we got last night was that the Superdome will not have fans in it for the Saints and the Bucks, and probably not for the Saints and the Packers either. And this is also not a this is not a surprise. This is not, but it's not a surprise, is it?
Not, but it hurts.
Yeah, of course it does. That's why we walk in here every day, okay? I just give you a little bit behind-the-scenes stuff, okay? I walk in with man, I'm happy to be at work. I really am happy to be at work because I know what the alternative is. And I know Hester's going to walk in a good mood because he's Hester, right? Every day he walks in, he's in a good mood. Yeah. And then I got to dump the news on him. It's just maybe the news is good like 1 out of every 5 days if we're lucky, right? Yeah. Like what was the day the days are running together? Was it Tuesday that we got the Big 12 schedule? Or was that yesterday? I don't even remember.
So it came. That was a good news day on Tuesday night.
That was a good news day. It felt better about it. And there are some things. We got some stuff from Bob Bowlesby from the Big 12 commissioner's office that I thought was a little bit encouraging, but I do feel like the wet blanket sometime that I got to come in here and it's like, all right, let's see where we are from a standpoint of status. And the standpoint of status, more often than not, the news has been sobering. And not having fans in the Superdome for what's likely the only matchup in the Superdome between the Bucks, the Tom Brady led Bucks, and Drew Brees and the Saints.
Yeah, and I already had tickets ready to go. We were fired up to go. My oldest son, was ready to go. And by the way, not only that, the Chargers are coming to New Orleans on a Monday night. I had the red carpet rolled out for my boys. They were actually going to think Dad was extremely cool. I was going to trick them, and that's probably not going to happen.
It's on October date. Yeah. Are you still? You're still alive? They didn't. At least they didn't come out and cancel the entire.
Yeah. Look at you. See, you're learning. You're growing.
Right. Well, I don't want to just, like I said, be the entire wet blanket. The rest of what is raging in the COVID world today is doctors versus doctors. That's essentially what we're dealing with. We talked about this yesterday, the day before. What a certain conference's doctors say versus another conference's doctors say is very, very different. And we'll give you an example of that right here. This was Larry Scott, the commissioner of the Pac-12, about why they made the call.
This was an extremely difficult and painful decision that we know will have important impacts on our student athletes, coaches, administrators, and our fans. And I know nothing that we can say will ease some of that disappointment, especially for some of our seniors. But we're here today to announce the Pac-12 CEO Group has decided to postpone all sport competition through the end of the 2020 calendar year. This decision was made after consultation with athletics directors, our coaches, football working groups, and with the Pac-12 COVID-19 Medical Advisory Committee, who expressed concern with moving forward with contact practice.
And that medical team included cardiologists. And that's the new buzz this week, is myocarditis has been the sort of the buzzword. So when Bob Bowlesby was asked, I gave you that clip to set up this one, which is from Bob Bowlesby, say, listen, did you guys talk to cardiologists?
Talk to experts on cardiac care after viruses and during viruses. And the indication from them is that there are reasons for concern, and that if we have positive tests, we need to make sure that prior to the time student athletes return to high activity, they receive cardiac MRIs and echocardiograms and EKGs and troponin testing and the like. And all of that is best practice for the situation post-COVID relative to heart inflammation. And so we're getting great advice.
Forget about linemen and backs. The most important thing you can have right now is a good cardiologist, a good medical team.
Oh, it's invaluable. I mean, we have heard from Dr. Etheridge week after week, and, LSU is very fortunate to have everything they have in place. I'm sure there's schools in the Big 12. I mean, we know that they're practicing the same things and being able to have the resources. We knew months ago, Hanny, this was going to come down to what are your resources, what are your protocols, right? And can you sustain the resources throughout a football season? And the bigger budget teams were going to be able to do it, and they are showing that. I mean, they're getting the EKGs, and they're making sure that every situation is taken care of. And now that they know what to look for, look, this thing's forever changing, right? It changes almost on a daily basis. When we come in here, there's going to be something that we didn't think we're going to talk about the day before. Well, these doctors and the team physicians, they're staying on top of that, and they're trying to do the same thing, and they're making sure that they have everything in place so there's no surprises. And if there is a surprise, they do their job well enough that they can adapt.
This is why people think that the goalposts keep getting moved. Okay, you went from flatten the curve to we need better numbers, but they're not going to tell you what the numbers are. We need to be able to put these COVID procedures in place, and we need to be able to put them in place for a period of time. We need to see that they are working. And when they did find out that they were working, they found out, well, that there's something else. The pro play crowd will say, you keep changing stuff. Every time we come up with a solution to one of your problems, you just come up with another problem. The side that is, we don't want you to play, is we're getting new information. Pick whichever side you want to be on. I mean, for myself, I come in here, there is a brick wall right outside because there's a fire escape here. And if you go outside, and prop the door open because otherwise it locks behind you and you can't get back in without the alarm going off. But you can go right outside that door here, about 5 feet away from our studio. There's a brick wall, and you can beat your head up against that brick wall, which I've contemplated doing many days.
Kind of like my football career was.
Beat your head up against that brick. Well, your coach wouldn't call a pass, but you go.
I didn't want him to. I was a running back.
You go outside and you beat your head up against that brick wall. Some days it feels like that. We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Peter Burns when we come back. This is Hangin' with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
104.5 ESPN invites you to take a short quiz for a chance to win a brand new EU1000 generator from our friends at Bozeman Distributors. Simply go to 1045ESPN.com now through August 16th and take the quiz to see how prepared you are for hurricane season. Everyone who takes the quiz is automatically entered to win the generator. Our winner will be chosen on Monday, August 17th. Get prepared for hurricane season from 1045 ESPN and stay prepared with Bozeman Distributors.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week. But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help out by visiting brfoodbank.org or bankingonbr.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a new Highlander for $4,000 off MSRP. Yes, $4,000 off MSRP, and we have many in stock. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Saints are on the practice field, and looks like we're going to have an SEC season. We'll talk about it with Mike D. Join us, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Join us now. Guys always got a warm and fuzzy feeling for us. Peter Burns, how you doing, man?
I'm sober, and that's I can't figure out if that's a good thing or bad thing. Normally, the warm fuzzy feeling is having a couple of cocktails at night and just reading Twitter to see what in the world happened in the world of sports. But kind of a quiet day today. It's just compared to the hurricane of information we've had over the last week, boys.
I don't know if you want to drink and read Twitter at the same time. It sounds dangerous. It sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Reading Twitter is not bad if you've had a couple of drinks, but tweeting while intoxicated, there should be like a Twitter app where you have to do like a breathalyzer before you hit send on any of it.
Right, yeah. Peter, we've seen the Big 12 announce their schedule. The ACC announce their schedule. We know now that the SEC is willing to wait this thing out. So when do you think we can expect an SEC schedule, as long as we're being optimistic here?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now the last thing they want to do is I think the Big Ten, whenever they came out last week, guys, they released their schedule, and then 4 or 5 days later they said we're shutting it all down. I don't think that the SEC is necessarily quick to release that schedule right now because I think they're still in the fact-finding situation of, hey, okay, what caused the Pac-12 and the Big Ten decide to shut it down so abruptly? And so, I mean, listen, it may come as soon as tomorrow or it may come next week or the following week. But as much as we want it for fans, I know that I just talking for myself, I know it was a bad look when the Big Ten put out their schedule and then a couple of days changed. And all of a sudden they're like, well, we were going to do this. Here's the schedule, and now we're not going to do any of it. I think that like with the SEC, like as they've been doing from day one, patience. We're not a rush to do any of this stuff. Let's take our time and do it right. So, again, I'm on standby for a schedule release, but I haven't heard of anything as of right now.
I do think, Peter, Tuesday night was big-time momentum for the SEC and the ACC with the Big 12 joining in. They released their schedule the next day because if the Big 12 goes with the Pac-12 and the Big 10, who knows where we're at today. So it is funny that, the Big 12 almost went away a couple of years ago, and then all of a sudden they could be the conference that saved college football this year moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's a great point, Jacob, because, we remember it was like a wild west and everybody was trying to have it stake their claim. And I looked at my Facebook memories early this morning and I saw something, I think it was 9 years ago today that Missouri had joined the SEC. And I saw that I was talking about, well, what happens with Texas Tech? Do they head to the Pac-12 or is the Big 12 going away? I mean, that's how crazy it was almost a decade ago. So, again, what I take from it is the Big 12 says, listen, we're not ready to pack this thing in yet. Like, we've seen the same information. We feel like we're safe, at least at this point. And I think I want to make the fair point that everyone assumes, hey, we're still playing. That's not necessarily the case, right? We at least can move forward we have a green light to have the plan to continue to play. I think we will play. But again, everybody's thinking, it's 100% concrete that we will have a season that starts September 26th. No, all we've got is a green light to go to the next place, right? And the next place is full practice. Alabama AD Greg Byrne told me this morning on my show that they are scheduled for football practice on Monday, full pads, lock it up, let's start. And I think that's the next fact-finding mission that they have on trying to get a full, safe season.
What's the bigger hurdle, Peter? Going back to full contact practices or re-releasing the players onto a campus that is full of students when the student body at large returns?
zero doubt the latter, right? Zero doubt all the people getting back on campus. I mean, remember LSU had players quarantined after, hey, everybody's going out. We're deciding to go to Fred's, and all of a sudden, all right, well, let's contract trace this. Okay, guys, you're going to have to sit out a little bit. So, and I think that's why I'm curious to see why the Big 12 or why the Big 10, the Pac-12 didn't say, listen, let's get our kids back on campus. Let's see if all the protocols we worked really hard on all year long, let's say, what if they worked? What if we're okay? I mean, Alabama yesterday tested 30,000 students. They had 30,000 results come in, and they had 0.83% positive. I mean, that is a minuscule number of students that were incoming to Alabama that were going to be on campus that tested positive. So why would you not at least get that information before you did anything? But long-winded way of saying, yeah, it's kids coming back on campus is probably more dangerous than the actual contact sports themselves.
That's why we've been talking about it, Peter. If you could do a virtual class for these student athletes, you have to do it. And that's something that I wish would have been set up, right? Because you have these facilities, and no matter the fall sport, I mean, you've got a facility in the SEC, in the Big Ten, all these conferences that is big enough, and you have the ability to hold that virtual class. And I know we're hearing up to 90% of LSU's classes for the football players could be virtual. I've heard the same kind of numbers from other places. And so that's kind of a hope as well, is that you take full advantage of being able to go to school virtually.
Hester, that's your bubble, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about, you need to have a bubble, Well, guess what? I mean, if you look at the testing that LSU and SEC schools, and really all college football programs, right, from Michigan to UCLA to all these places, they have created a bubble where the student athletes can go out there, they can practice, they're working hard, and the testing has been off the charts fantastic. That's the bubble. Now, if you're going to say, hey, you're okay with kids taking virtual online classes, which, by the way, happens already. I mean, I don't remember Joe Burrow going into the quad or, going into the calf all the time. Like, I'm pretty sure he took all online classes last year and the world didn't fall apart. So if that's the way to do it, therein lies your bubble of protecting your players, protecting your students, and protecting your student athletes. And sure enough, there's your bubble, and you can try to play this upcoming season.
I don't want to throw a monkey wrench in you guys' plan, but when they bring your regular student body back, they're bringing the girls back too?
Hey, Hanny, and I'm not naive to that. I'm not naive to that point.
Seriously.
But last year,
it's an honor code. It's an honor code. It's just, hey, it's a wink. It's a fist bump. That's all it is. So again, let me ask you this. That should be the poll question. I don't know if you do it. Would you abstain from any of that as a college athlete, or as just a college kid, if you know you could have a football season? Would you be willing to go 3 months as a 20-year-old kid and just go, you know what, I'm good. I'm going to be Scout's honor, give my word to stop at third. Would you do it?
I know I'm going to get crushed for this, but last year Coach O did not allow the players to go out the entire season, and they did a really nice job. And look, they got people out there, Peter. You and I have talked about this before. Les used to send GAs out on Thursday nights and Fridays to make sure nobody's going out or whatever. They had people out there, and they did it last year. Not saying that every school can do it or the LSU can do it again, but it was done for the most part last year.
Here's the thing, and when I talk to people at LSU and I talk to some of these schools that have really good leadership, like Coach O has put in place there in the 225, is the fact that the accountability has to come from within. If you have coaches telling your team, you got to do this, and you got to do this, you got to do that, guess what? The 4-string tight end probably doesn't give a rat's you-know-what. He's going to go out and put himself in danger, therefore pushing everybody in danger. But if you have a team that's led with your leaders, like Burrow was last year, and even comes from Coach O, these guys know now how tight of a rope that they have. And that at the Big Ten and Pac-12, they've already shut it down. And that could happen if just one person doesn't hold the whole team accountable. And I think that's going to help these student athletes put together a successful upcoming season.
Peter, we appreciate it. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us today. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
We'll try to do it, boys. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks, BB.
Peter Burns from the SEC Network. When we come back, Evan Moore from Fox Sports and the Pac-12 Network will join us as Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
GoTro's Outdoor Power and our friends over at SCAG honoring our first responders and our police, our medical, our fire all of our first responders with their Simply the Brave program, which means 15% off of MSRP on all of their units, all of your zero turns, all of your residential and your commercial units. SCAG, the top name in the industry. So no job is too big, no job is too small for any of your individual SCAG mowers. And SCAG is sweetening the pot this fall as well.
Don't forget, when you buy a SCAG, Patriot Z, Tiger Cat, Cheetah, or Turf Tiger GoTros outdoor power, you'll get your choice of an Echo trimmer or blower absolutely free. Plus, still offering that 0% interest for 60 months financing on all SCAG ZTRs. If COVID has you worried about leaving the house and shopping, GoTros can do 100% of the sale over the phone, including the financing, and GoTros offers free delivery to your home on all new equipment sales. 2 locations locally, Airline and Industriaplex in Baton Rouge, Airline 74 in Gonzales. GoTros, we make it easy.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Tune into a Thursday edition of Game Time with Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz. Tonight we're live from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar from 6 to 8 p.m. Come down to North Boulevard and say hello or listen here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
You can also watch us on CST and our YouTube channel 104.5 ESPN. Along with Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff. Joining us now from from Fox Sports and the Pac-12 Network is Evan Moore. Evan, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Hope you guys are doing well too. Not this week hasn't been full of great news, that's for sure, but we're plugging along out here on the West Coast.
Evan, with a couple of days to digest it now, the decision of the Pac-12 to not play football in the fall in any sports until January the 1st. What's the mood as you've had a couple of days to really kind of wrap your mind around this?
Well, look, the general mood and reaction, I think, across the entire Pac-12 footprint is disappointment for obvious reasons, right? And that's led with football. Now, you're right, it does go beyond football into winter sports, at least for now, until January 1st. But it's disappointment because we were looking at, a week ago, I was on Pac-12 radio talking about the schedule release and what lied ahead. And what I've really, over the last couple of days, been able to wrap my mind around is that it appears the Pac-12 conference and the Big Ten, for that matter, kind of had two different paths they were on with this whole thing. One being the obvious one where there was a group within the conference that was tasked with, coming up with a schedule, getting ready for the season, handling it from a PR standpoint. And then another that involved the key stakeholders and the presidents and, the people that are making the decisions that had kind of given themselves an internal deadline closer to the start of training camp, which is this week, and finally got together and started to digest more information regarding health and safety and decided to shut it down. And it seemed sudden. I think all of us that follow college football on this past Saturday started to hear a lot of the ominous rumors about what lied ahead for the Pac-12 and the Big Ten and started to become doubtful about that. Now, I will note that some of this is specific to the Pac-12 conference and that, the reasons they decided to punt on this thing, one of the biggest ones is the health restrictions that are in place in various counties across the Pac-12 footprint. I'm not sure other conferences have quite the challenge that like USC and UCLA have right now where they can't even get back on the field because of LA County public health restrictions. And then the other side of it is the danger that it presents immediately to college athletes. And that's the part, guys, that I've just been really frustrated with because the opinions on that, the medical opinions from professionals, are all over the board. Pac-12 claims that it has information that nobody would play if they read. Well, it's like, Duke's infectious disease expert who leads the ACC task force, who I'm sure is a pretty smart guy, feels differently, right? Tulane's guy that leads up the American Athletic Conference, he feels differently. So the wide range of opinions relating to the threat presented to the college athlete is frustrating to me because there's a lot at stake here, right? We know how important college sports are to these towns, to these universities, to these kids, and the well-being of so many people. And so we can't look at this like, hey, it's just a risk-free option of shutting it down because it's not. There's a lot at stake, and for that reason, it's really disappointing.
Evan, you mentioned some of the things that take place in California and Oregon and Washington, some of the states within the Pac-12, and I always felt like that was going to be the biggest hurdle for them because they have different rules and protocols in place than really anywhere else in the country. And I'm surprised you're not hearing more about that, more about the restrictions that are within these states alone.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jacob, and I'll emphasize that again. Like the four reasons the Pac-12 claims, its medical advisory committee claims that it shut it down. Was one, viral spread, relating to contributing to viral spread if we continue to play football and their thoughts on that. Two was health restrictions. Three was the myocarditis factor, then kind of the new idea that this thing could really start to hit athletes. I know myocarditis is not a new concept, but as it relates to COVID, I think they got more information on that. And then the fourth is testing and or lack thereof with regard to frequency. But to your point about health restrictions, yeah, I mean that's the part that the conference can't control. It's the governor of the state of California, Gavin Newsom, and then the LA County health officials and the various of these counties throughout the footprint. Those restrictions are real, right? And there's no way to get around those. And at least for the California schools, those were going to be heavily problematic as they try to get back to playing football. And like I said, I'm not familiar quite as much with how much that's a challenge in other areas around the country and how much other counties and other states are dealing with that. But I can tell you in the Pac-12, that was a big hurdle to try to get past. And fortunately, though, that's not necessarily something that you could point to would be a reason that the Big 12 or the SEC or the ACC would shut it down because that's a geographically specific issue that the Pac-12 has had to deal with.
Evan Moore is our guest from Fox Sports and the Pac-12 Network. Evan, you played college basketball at Stanford in addition to college football. This decision to move everything past January 1st affects that sport as well. What do you think the immediate future is for the college basketball players? And if you were still playing, would you be more concerned about the spread of this from basketball or football?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, first part for basketball, obviously basketball typically starts, around Thanksgiving weekend. We start to see some exhibition type things that are a lot of fun to watch on television. Then we get into December and have a lot of good non-conference matchups. Those are obviously, at least in the Pac-12, and the Big Ten has not gotten specific about that yet, but the Pac-12 has, that those won't take place this year. Now, the rumors are that there are some plans in place to make the basketball season work if we can get there, as it relates to travel and trying to have like kind of bubble type scenarios in the Pac-12. I got to be honest, guys. I have my doubts. I mean, if we're in a position right now where we can't nail testing, at least I'm speaking specifically to the Pac-12 now, we can't do testing frequently enough to make the medical advisory committee comfortable, and there's enough. And this was the biggest thing. I said 4 different things, but the reality is the biggest thing was, in their minds, the uncertainty relating to the long-term effects of COVID. And if those are still there, I just have a really hard time believing you're going to tell me in 4 or 5 months that we're going to have all that stuff figured out, right? And I'm not being pessimistic because I am trying to feed that narrative of, hey, we got to be careful. I think we should play. I'm just saying, in the mindset of the medical committees that have to make these decisions with liability and liability in mind and navigating those different things with the president, if they made this decision today, I just really have a hard time believing that in February they're ready to say, okay, we got testing figured out, we're comfortable with long-term effects, let's cut this thing loose. I have my doubts, and it hurts me, it pains me to say that, but I have my doubts. And then relating to spring football, I just don't, Jacob, I'd be interested to hear what you think about this too. I just don't think that's a very viable option. Even if it's an abbreviated season in the spring, is abbreviated to the point where it's not even close to a normal season, well, what's the point, right? I mean, I just feel like we won't see football again in the Pac-12 until the fall of 2021.
Evan, for me, when you look at a spring football season, I mean, you play at the highest level. You know this. We stay on schedule because we have to have our schedule. We started in January to get ready for a football season that starts in September, and there's a process to lead up to that. And so when you get out of that process, that's number one. And you talk about player safety. Well, if you're playing 20-plus games in one calendar year in college, that's not what you typically do. You typically play 12 games in a bowl game, so you get 13 games. So there's that. And also, Evan, what if you go out there and you have a year-long injury? Say you tear your ACL, your labrum, whatever that might be. So you're telling me I'm going to miss 2 seasons? I mean, that's just 3 things off the top of my head when I think about a spring football season. We hadn't even got, Evan, into the NFL draft and scouting and some of these guys trying to go to the Senior Bowl and all these other things that trying to get ready for the combine and all these type of things that you have to do.
Yeah, all those are great points, and that's exactly what I would have said. And look, when I think of, like I just said a minute ago about, you're telling me we're going to have all this stuff figured out about long-term effects that the medical advisory boards are worried about, and the reason they're really scrapping the football season. So you're telling me I'm going to have that figured out and play, like you said, in a I wouldn't even say a full calendar year. I'll say like 10 months. You're going to play, for some teams, 23, 24 games. Even if you have an abbreviated spring season, you could see 23, 24 games over a 10-month period. Any health and safety benefit you're getting from shutting down the season, in my mind, you're completely offsetting by playing that many games in 2021. Now, look, I realize orthopedic issues that stem from football are different than some of the issues that they think COVID presents to these student athletes. Okay, fine. But how about CTE and all the stuff that we're talking about with concussions, right? I mean, everyone that's ever played football knows that there's a lot of risk that comes with playing football. And the concussion thing, to me, is sort of something that a lot of these presidents around these conferences have started to lump COVID in with. And what I mean by that is it's kind of unknown. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of liability. But CTE is something that's gradually presented itself over, a multi-year period, and we've been able to stomach that risk as a community and as football players. But COVID has come on like a tidal wave for these people as far as not knowing how this thing works. And from March till now, they've been trying to digest it. And I don't think this one they're willing to just accept like they are with CTE, right? So, look, my point is football is wrought with risk, right? So you're gonna be hard pressed to tell these athletes that, like, hey, we're not going to play this fall because there's too much risk on the table. That's a tough thing. That's a tough thing to try to tell them.
So we had a question on our app about what do they think is going to be different in January? The virus will still be here. So are they pinning their hopes on we're just going to shut everything down until there's a vaccine? Because that seems to me that's the bleakest possible outlook.
Yeah, I agree with you. It also seems like a pipe dream. Right? Like, and we have 330 million people in this country. Like, if we all of a sudden get a vaccine, how available is it going to be, right? Those are all questions I think everybody has. But specific to the Pac-12, I think what it comes down to regarding pausing and possibly playing in early 2021, I think it comes down to two things. And I think one is just managing the spread within the communities in the Pac-12 footprint, right? Like the data needs to be below a certain threshold to make them feel comfortable and make the health officials feel comfortable. And then secondly, I think it comes down to testing, right? The NFL has a contract with a private lab and can do testing I've heard between now and September 5th, basically daily. And the Pac-12 decided it couldn't pull that off, at least right now. And so you'd think, hey, the argument that these guys are safer within the confines of their football programs, I completely agree, especially if they're being tested daily, right? So if we can find out who has it and all this, then I think we're in a lot better shape. And I think the Pac-12 thinks that it might be able to nail daily, immediate feedback type testing earlier next year as opposed to right now. And if that helps, okay, then that's the reason. Again, I think we should be playing, but I think that's the reason that they're punting to 2021.
Evan, a couple things before we let you go. One, you sound way too intelligent to be Matt Flynn's friend. You've done fantastic. I don't know how you and Flynn have conversations because he's not on your level. And
Flynn's one of my favorite people in the world, man. One of my favorite people in the world.
Well, you were doing so well, man.
And two, so Evan, when we started this show about 3 years ago, Matt and I were doing 1 or 2 days a week together, and he was co-hosting with me, and we're like, dude, we're going to be able to get like all the guests that we want. He's like, dude, I'm going to help you out. You know how many guests he's gotten to date?
Am I like the second or third?
You're the only guest. And that was like our second show of all time. And so he thought enough of you. You've been the only guest in 3 years that he brought to the table. Now, you've been fantastic, so he did really nice. Maybe he wanted to end on a high note, but one guest.
Well, hey, that's an honor, right? And I think Matt it sounds like the rest of Matt's Rolodex he'd be embarrassed about, so he wanted to pass on that.
Yeah. By the way, Matt's at the beach right now when he's supposed to be working. So, does anything surprise you with Flynn?
Nothing. He's probably working on that tan, man. He's too pasty. I've seen pictures of him lately. He needs to work on that.
Pasty and dad bod. We'll end on that one.
That's right. Well, hey guys, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Evan, thank you so much for your time. Evan Moore with Fox Sports and the Pac-12 Network. We are hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
What happens? Anybody can tell you what happened. What does it mean? Less people can do that. But we're going to focus on what happens next.
Mornings, 5 to 7, starting Monday on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call.
This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning.
Coming up on Fridays Off the Bench. Watch live on YouTube as Jordy and T-Bob attempt to do an entire segment while eating the hottest wings they can find in Baton Rouge. Plus, the latest from college football. Hunt Palmer and Cole Kubelik stop by. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Everybody's real impressed with Evan.
How in the world did Evan and Flynn create a relationship? Because Evan was very intelligent, logical, loved all his responses. And then you've got Clayton, who's out there.
Stats and pats.
Yeah, he's got stats and pats.
Well, it's the opposites, sort of. And not attract in a physical way is not what I meant, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You hang out with people that are.
Of course,
different.
I give Clayton a hard time. If we got a grease board out here, my man knows X's and O's better than anybody I know.
He's not going to tell us.
Yeah. I'm trying to get a report actually from him from the beach, and so hopefully that comes next week.
If they do when they play football, when we're talking about, we may have lots of NFL stuff to talk about if there's even less college football than we're hoping now. Well, then we're going to make him bring down some coverages, right?
Oh, without question.
I mean, please tell me that if we get a half a season of college football, this is actually in the waning living hours of the huddle. We get a good question from one of our contributors that's in here every day, William. This is actually very good. If the Pac-12 doesn't play, the Big 12, the Big 10 doesn't play, which they're not supposed to play. They're not going to play. But the SEC, the Big 12, and the ACC do. And what are you going to do with scholarship limitations? Everybody keeps their scholarship on these players that are not playing. Okay, well, that's fine. But you got players coming in next year. See, when college baseball shut everything down, everybody got shut down.
Right.
So it was easy enough to come up with the scholarship rules for the next year because it was for everybody. Well, seniors can come back. They're not going to be charged with that year. Your scholarship limitations will be uncapped for 1 year. Now, they didn't give them any more money. They didn't give them any more on the 11.7, but they allowed you to keep everybody around. What if you tried to do that in football? Well, again, if you're doing it for everybody, well, you could come up with some kind of guidelines. What are you going to do? Come up with guidelines for, well, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten didn't play, so
Right.
everybody retains their eligibility, everybody retains their scholarship, and those won't count against your 2021 cap. But the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12, they did, and so nobody retains any extra eligibility there, and their cap stays at 85. That's going to go over pretty well, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, no, not at all. And so the spring season, if they do have a spring season, which I'm very skeptical of, it's going to be counted as a 2020 season, and that's the only way that you can do it. And then when you start over in the fall of 2021, everybody tries to get back on the same level. But I mean, I feel like Goodwill Hunting, trying to figure out exactly mathematically and this, that, and the other, and it's going to be a mess, Hanny. That's why another reason why spring football season to me is going to be very difficult, even though you keep giving me bullet points with color bullet points on Twitter laying out dates. It's still difficult.
I'm going to let the coach lay it out for you and see what you think of Jeff Brom's schedule. We'll do that in hour number 2. Plus, Hunt Palmer is with us. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Here at the Big Squeezy, we continue to serve the Baton Rouge and Southeast Louisiana areas during these troubling times. We are dedicated to providing you healthy food items to help you live your best life. From our cold-pressed juices to our delicious smoothies, let the Big Squeezy keep you going. Stay active, stay happy, and let us help you stay healthy. Visit us at our locations and also inside of Alexander's and Mathern's grocery stores or online at thebigsqueezy.com.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Callahan Injury Lawyers. Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hour number 2, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. Thank you for being with us. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 1130 The Tiger. Watch it on CST or on YouTube, 104.5 ESPN. Want to check out any of the prior interviews, you can do that on the Hanging with Hester and Hanny page. Go back, check out our man Evan Moore. Made an impact here today. Liked a lot of what he had to say. With us now, Hunt Palmer, he of the first place, Chicago Cubs. Hang on. We're talking about the best record in baseball, Chicago Cubs.
We are talking about that.
Not for very long. But
play the easiest schedule.
So I haven't. I checked. I saw this on Twitter, and I can't confirm it. But if you're looking at the central standings, you can look at that. Apparently, the Pirates are 4 games behind the Cardinals, who are 2-3.
That's right.
The Cardinals have played 5 games. They have a losing record, and the Pirates are still 4 games behind.
I'll go you better than that. The Cardinals have played 5 games, and they're in second place.
Yeah, I believe it.
As far as number of games back, but I do imagine that there'll be some adjustment to that. Hell, the Wizards went to the NBA bubble and lost, I think, 2 slots. They moved back 2 spots. They moved behind Charlotte for sure, and I think one other team in the Eastern
kind of
Conference.
Embarrassed, maybe not embarrassed. I don't really care, but I have not watched one bounce of a basketball in the NBA bubble.
I've watched it did seem like there was quite a bit of buildup, a lot of excitement amongst Pelicans fans, and it all deflated when that shot didn't go down in the opener. Like it was just the whole thing kind of collapsed like a house of cards. That if that shot goes down, it feels a lot different. After that, it just, and then they get blown out by the Clippers. And if he hits a shot, they might have gotten blown out by the Clippers anyway. But they would have at least been on track, on pace to put themselves in position. Memphis collapsed. They've won 1 game in the bubble.
What did the Pelicans need to do? Go 6-2?
With what's ended up happening, I think they would have gotten home with 5 and they'd still be alive. They've got a game against the Magic tonight. If they had gone 5-3, they would have at least, depending on what happens tonight, they would at least still been in the conversation. I mean, Memphis is 1-6 in the Phoenix is 7-0. Don't you see Playboy Mario's over there?
All I've heard about is Damian Lillard. Apparently, I need to be watching him.
He would be the MVP of the bubble. He had even as good as T.J. Warren played, and he came out of the gate with 53 in the opener. Dame's been the MVP of the bubble. And Portland, when we talked about teams going back in the bubble, the one that we thought would change the most because of who they had coming back,
got their front line back,
was Portland. And they put themselves in position now where if they win today, they are not only are they in the play-in, they're in the catbird seat. They're in the 8.
So if you're the LA Lakers and you're the 1 seed, which team do you not want to face? Because no disrespect there, Playboy, and the Suns have got some pieces in this format right now, fits their style, but I wouldn't want any part of Portland because Dame can take over a series, and you have 2, 3, sometimes 4 offensive options that you feel really good about if you're Portland. So if I'm the Lakers, and the Lakers have some size with AD and LeBron when they're out there on the court. Well, the Trailblazers can throw some size out there to you as well. So I'm not saying they'd upset them, but that would not be an opponent I would want to face in the first round.
I don't want any part of a guy who's scoring 50 a night in any circumstance.
It's not even close. They should be actively rooting for Memphis today. I mean, not that they care. They're going to be favored anyway, but the difference between playing Memphis or playing Portland in the first round,
it's a big difference.
There's no comparison right now with what's going on.
Because Portland's in this situation. They're in this scenario because they were without their guys for a long portion of the season, right? And then, you get Carmelo Anthony, who, regardless of what you think of Carmelo, he has always been a guy that can score the basketball, right? And they just had to find a way to integrate him into the system. And he was trying to play the 4, and he's trying to do some other things. So that took a long time as well. And then CJ and Dame kind of been in and out of the lineup. And so that was a team that just didn't have their full arsenal at any point during the season.
My question would be, how long until the entire national news media turns into LeBron legacy talk? How many more weeks we got before that starts? 3?
Did it ever stop?
Well, I haven't heard a lot of it right now. I guess everybody's talking about college football on Twitter, but I mean, inevitably it's going to be they're going to win the title and it shouldn't count because they didn't have to go on the road and it was in a bubble season, or he's going to lose and he's going to be not as good as Jordan because he loses in the finals all the time.
Not to take shine off the NBA bubble talk, but this actually just came across the wire from Matt Baker, Tampa Bay Times. Florida State President John Thrasher says the ACC presidents are meeting at 4:30 today, and he thinks it will be the final decision on whether to play or not.
What happened between today and Tuesday?
Don't know, but that is news from the Tampa Bay Times.
I'm just not sure how
Matt
you can
Baker.
make a final decision when we could have 4 teams break out in the middle of September. I mean,
Now this is not where I thought you were going when you said Florida State, because there was a whole different story come out of Florida State about 3 wide receivers that came out publicly and spoke about the lack of transparency with testing at their school. There was a tweet put up where one of the players, DJ Matthews, had tested positive. They deleted that tweet. One of his teammates, Warren Thompson, came out and wrote an open letter to Florida State saying he'd been lied to about the testing and health protocols on multiple occasions. This is the second major problem, I would say, that Florida State has had before they have ever played a game under Mike Norvell. Okay. And both of them have to deal with alleged dishonesty by the leadership at Florida State. The first one was when Marvin Wilson came out. Mike Norvell said, well, I met with all my players individually. And Marvin Wilson said, no, you didn't. That's a big fat lie. Right. And Norvell had to walk that back. So if they come back and say, well, we were told not to say anything about the testing, and now you've lied to us about the testing, well, that's it. If this is true, Norvell's never going to coach a game there. I mean, your head coach cannot lie to your kids and go into public and berate them. You can't. No, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Yeah, it's not a good look for your first 2 stories to be of this nature there. But real quick, going back, can there be and it says final twice, so a final decision on if they're going to play. Can there be a final decision at this point right now?
Not a positive one,
right?
If they're going to make another decision and call it final today, it has to be to cancel. They can't.
That would be the only final decision.
Yeah, they can't say today for sure we're going to play no matter what.
Yeah.
They were waiting on the protocols. Remember, we did this 2 days ago.
Well, we're all aware. They've put a schedule out. They've put protocols. Like, we know they're trying to.
If they're voting again today, they're going to cancel.
Surely the Florida State news isn't the driving force behind this meeting. Surely they would take more time, investigate more. That would be the logical thing to do. Although a lot of logic has left college football. That would be the logical thing to do, to investigate what's being said at Florida State to make sure the protocols are in place and they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing.
Read me that tweet again.
FSU President John Thrasher says the ACC presidents are meeting at 4:30 today, and he thinks it will be the final decision on whether to play.
I don't know any other way to read that. I don't know how they can.
I'm right there with you.
You can say we'll vote again today, or we'll come out of that with a decision to move forward. But you can't come out of that and say, absolutely, we're going to play no matter what. You can say we're not going to play no matter what. How much would you read in one of the quotes from Greg Sankey was, I'm looking forward to getting the information from the Pac-12 and the Big Ten about what their medical experts said. Why are they having this discussion? And we heard from Bob Bowlesby earlier in the show. The doctors obviously have conflicting opinions when it comes to that. But is there some piece of information medically that would come out of those things? Larry Scott says if you knew what we knew, you wouldn't even have the discussion.
Well, you lost me at Larry Scott.
Well, okay, but there's a doctor behind Larry Scott. Larry Scott's not giving his opinion on the medicine without
hasn't really
having
given his opinion on anything.
No, and look, I'm not gonna sit here and champion Larry Scott, but there's a doctor somewhere advising him, right? Now we just had this conversation with Evan Moore. The protocols out there are extremely different in California and Oregon than they are in Louisiana and Florida and Georgia. But they're going to vote again, really, today? I want to go back to talking about the Cubs.
Me too. Woo!
Cubs,
12-3.
bubble,
You
basketball, Orlando, all that stuff. Yeah, but look, that's news. That's big news.
Yeah.
And who in the ACC? This is speculation here. Who in the ACC do you think would be the biggest against? Is it schools like Boston College and Syracuse that are higher education?
Well, the only school I've heard.
No, Duke's got the infectious
Duke's got the doctor that's saying we're okay.
It's Cameron Wolf is the disease specialist at.
That was, and this is a different tangent we may not even want to get into, but the snarkiness and the sarcasm and the dismissive nature with a lot of the national media are covering this is driving me insane.
My doctor can beat up your doctor.
And so they're painting everything politically and going to Duke and finally Moscone just said, "Is Duke's doctor not good enough for you?" It just drives me nuts.
All right, so we've already got an update on the meeting from Ross Dellinger. More on the ACC president's meeting, and he was the one who retweeted the Tampa Bay Times, which I saw only minutes before. It was an already scheduled meeting, so that's positive. Presidents are expecting to receive an official medical report from an advisory board. There's optimism, positivity that the ACC will continue on its current course.
Okay, well then, so what was this final
Why
stuff?
in
Regis
the
Philbin's dead. What is your final
Florida
answer?
State president, chill out, bro. What do you final? You got the Tampa Bay
What does it say
Times.
about Florida State that the most functional and normal they've been in years is when Jameis Winston was making all the headlines? Since then, it's been even worse.
I mean, of all the people that wants to come out and make public statements today, I think the Florida State president is pretty close to last among presidents in the ACC they want to hear from today.
So shut up. Yeah. Matt.
Go muzzle your coach.
Yes. Go something.
Have your coach follow the rules.
God. So Matt Baker of the Tampa Bay Times, just to give you a timeline, 14 minutes ago, tweeted that. 7 minutes ago, Deli did the tweet that he normally does in the whiskey glass, right? Okay. And then 3 minutes ago, he gives us that update. That's college football in 2020 in a timeline nutshell right there.
The Cubs bullpen.
It's getting better.
Hey, I got Schwarber on my dang fantasy team, and they've been sitting him lately. What the hell's going on there?
He plays almost every day.
When we return here. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, we're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. Helping you financially in so many different ways that they can do it. With the interest rates as low as they are right now, it is your opportunity, if you want to enter the housing market, to have more purchasing power than maybe you ever have before. But maybe that's a little bit too much to bite off right now. So if you want to increase your financial position in your own home, a refi might be exactly what you're looking for. Not just the long-term benefits of lower payments, but the short-term benefits of being able to skip a mortgage payment or two and free up a little bit of cash. Maybe you need more room, but you don't want to move. A construction loan might be what you're looking for. Whatever your issue, GMFSmortgage.com can help you. You'll sit with a local counselor. They'll give you all of your options, lay out what is best for you, and then you can make an informed decision for you and your family. Do what I did, do what thousands of others have done, and start that financial journey today at GMFSmortgage.com.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube page. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat. Find highlights for each show's channel and get notified whenever we go live.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property.
Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Hi, this is Chance Inman, President and Chief Operating Officer for Janney King Gulf Coast. Here are some ways to protect yourself and those around you from the coronavirus. Wash your hands often and thoroughly. Cover coughs and sneezes with your elbow. Disinfect high-touch surfaces regularly. Use non-contact methods for greeting others. And avoid touching your face. Following these steps, as well as social distancing, should help all of us stay healthy.
Janney King, the king of clean.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a new Camry for $239 per month, or take 0% financing for 6 years. $239 per month, or 0% for 6 years. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Saints are on the practice field, and looks like we're going to have an SEC season. We'll talk about it with Mike D. Join us, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We are brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
I got another tweet. Can I update real quick?
God, didn't you do this all weekend?
I was gonna do my Hunism. You want the tweet or the Hunism?
Well, the tweet's good. So
okay,
again, from Deli,
please,
let's address something else before the ish hits the fan. SEC presidents are meeting today in a previously scheduled call. Their course is expected to remain the same. So if you hear about an SEC meeting, it was already scheduled, and it seems like it's going to be positive.
That's good.
If I see a positive story out there on Deli's timeline, I'm going to read it, because a lot of Deli's timeline hadn't been very positive lately.
A lot of timelines, period, haven't been positive lately.
There's some that have been.
Yeah, we got some positive though. Hunt, you're following the U.S. Amateur right now, and the two LSU golfers that advanced yesterday, Philip Barbary and Trey Winstead.
Yeah, into the round of 32. If they can win a match this morning, they would play again this afternoon, and obviously the round of 16 up at Bandon Dunes in Oregon. Philip Barbary just made a birdie on 11 to tie his match. He is they're tied through 11, and Trey Winstead, son of LSU golf coach Chuck Winstead, he is 2 up through 9 holes in his match this morning. So hopefully those two guys can win the match this morning and play again this afternoon. It's on TV on the Golf Channel later, which I'll be tuned into with the Cubs.
Hunt thinks Playboy Marty is Hugh Hefner's son.
I think we've had one like that, haven't we?
That's the first
Keep
one
the
I've
material
seen.
fresh, people.
Hunt pours his Michelob Ultra over ice.
We know I'm a Bud Light man, and my dad does drink beer over ice.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
He drinks beer
Dr.
probably
Palmer.
about
I've never
20
heard
days
that
a
one.
year, and when he does, he wants it on ice. He wants it to be as cold as it can possibly be.
What's Dr. Palmer's
Chill the
drink
glass,
what's his
dude.
drink
I
of
mean,
choice?
He loves that too.
What's his drink of choice?
Just Bud Light.
Oh, okay.
He was a Budweiser guy, and then I told him that it's not like I call Budweiser's pork chops because I feel like if I drink one, I'm just.
Oh, I call them Bud Heavies.
Well, I do too. But
Leaded, yeah.
Oh, he fully leaded. What about Coors Original? What do you call that?
The banquet beer.
Banquet beer. Yellow Coats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course, you take that east of Texas, and that's bootlegging. That's against the law. It's an old movie. Never mind.
You're a movie guy.
What? Don't you come at me hot.
I think you're just a little bit scared. Hunt makes his own Zima. I think we've had enough.
Is Zima still on the market?
Probably
You would
not.
know. I wouldn't.
What is that supposed to mean?
I don't know. Seem like a guy that enjoys a Zima.
We used to have Smirnoff Sundays back when I was in college.
Wait, in college, you're too old for that.
This is a whole segment.
I'd rather
Smirnoff
do that,
in
quite
college?
honestly. I'm sick of this garbage.
Yeah.
All right, Hester. I'm gonna.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought we were doing this the whole segment. What happened?
well, Flynn didn't call in.
That's true.
Wait till he calls in. The structure of this spring season that you don't think is possible was actually given a real breathing schedule by Jeff Brom at Purdue. Came up with a schedule that would start in the middle of January with a 2-week training camp, would continue through most of the month of February with a 4-week training camp, that would go through March and most of April with an 8-game season, would go with a postseason that started at the beginning of May and went through the middle of May, would end the season at the middle of April for non-postseason teams and pick it back up in the middle of July, give you 6 weeks of preseason camp for that got you to the end of August, then have a 4-week training camp at the beginning of September and start the 2021 season on October the 2nd, run it through the middle of December, and have the playoffs in January of 2022.
So you're affecting the fall 2021 season. That's the first thing that I take from this, because I can't go back and talk about all the reasons I don't like a spring 2021 season. Y'all know those already. If you've listened to this show, you know that already. But now you're talking about pushing the start date of the season to October the 2nd, when we already know week 0 has kind of become popular as well, and that's in late August. And so you're talking about the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12 if they do play, and yes, some G5 conferences as well. What are you saying to them? Hey, can you hold up just a little bit? Hey, we're going to start a little bit later because we did a spring season. And if I'm Greg Sankey and I'm these commissioners, like, no, we're going to play like we normally would play because we have our schedule for a reason. We have our SEC championship game set in December for a reason. We do this because that's what we've done. That's what works for us. And so in this model, the college football playoff and all the other things that come with it, they become more difficult.
8 games with no bye week is also something that they're not.
I did that once in my NFL career. It was not fun.
But before you went to a 12-game schedule, 6 used to be the max that they wanted to do. That was I remember Jerry DiNardo citing those stats when they were putting together a schedule in the 90s. He said the winning percentage goes down. The biggest decrease is from week 6 to week 7 when you try to play that 7th consecutive week. So they tried to make sure that they never did that.
Anybody remember 2005 LSU schedule?
I remember that they had to cancel, move or postpone.
You remember those bye weeks?
Yeah, it was the North Texas game got moved. Then the Arizona State game got moved to Arizona. And then the Tennessee game got moved. And then it was 10 consecutive games, and the SEC championship game was week 11.
Yes.
And the LSU Tigers showed up tired.
We looked like it.
Well, I mean, it was 11 straight games.
Grind. It was a grind. We were a better football team than we showed in that SEC championship game, but by the end of it, we were running on empty a little bit.
When you got your batteries recharged, you play better in the bowl game.
Yeah.
Yeah, good gosh. Poor Miami. But to your point, yeah, that's a hell of a football team. A really good football team that in a normal season, who knows what it could have been.
If you'd have played Georgia in the spot where you played Miami, just give you 4 weeks off, pretty good game.
Yeah.
I'm not guaranteeing either was would have won, but it's a pretty good game.
Our point is those things matter. They matter. You know, when you get that bye, there's a reason the NFL cuts it off. You have to have your bye week before a certain point, right? There's a reason for all of those things.
This is anywhere from a minimum of 18 games to a maximum of, if you went playoffs, as many as 22 between the beginning of April. Let me see if I got this right. I'm sorry, the beginning of March and January. 18 to 22 games for college kids over, that period of time. Not even a full calendar year, closer to 9 months.
I have just so many things going on in my head.
Well, share them. You're on the radio.
I know.
So this is an open platform.
I know. I'm just kind of working through what I want to talk about. I mean, first of all, that March 3rd kickoff in Evanston and Madison is going to be real pleasant, temperature-wise.
We did the weather yesterday. Yeah.
But more importantly, I'm trying to have an open mind, because when you start talking about altering and moving back my 2021 football season, I want to go like Jacob and throw my hands up and say, no, I want to be back to normal by then. But I'm trying to have an open mind, and I realize that I've talked a lot over the last couple of months about the financial impact of canceling football altogether and not playing it. And so for me to say that, I have to have an open mind and say, okay, if there are some dollars to recoup here in the spring, it's something that I have to listen to. But then you go back and you hear all these doctors and you hear all these people and you say, you can't play that many football games and try to act like you care about the health and safety of the kids. I just don't think it works. I want to try. I want to try, and I understand it's a big deal, and I can't beat the drum on finances and then just dismiss totally another idea that may bring some semblance of some financial restitution, but it just doesn't seem like it works.
Week 3 of the spring season, Purdue is playing Indiana in football and basketball in the same week, or maybe I should say the first week in March. Minnesota and Wisconsin are playing in both sports.
Yeah, they can share a bus.
It's like a baseball football doubleheader.
This is such a minor part of it, but it's something that I was thinking of, like you just said, like Indiana basketball. If I'm a family, I'm a family of 6. Well, we don't go to every single event because it's costly. It costs a lot of money to go to a collegiate sporting event. So if I'm a family in Indiana, am I going to go sit inside and watch Indiana basketball, or am I going to sit outside and watch Indiana football? What money am I spending that week? It's a no-brainer. And Indiana football is actually on the up. I mean, they've got a really up-and-coming head coach. But to my point, do I want to go sit in the dome and watch Golden Gopher baskesketball, or am I going to go freeze my ass off and watch Golden Gopher football?
The dollars are going to be watered down.
And basketball is cheaper.
Yeah, you're gonna have to make a decision on your discretionary dollars all at the same time. We're assuming that there's going to be basketball, because I don't think they can cancel the NCAA tournament a second time and the NCAA survive financially. We know what the golden goose is for the NCAA.
I'm at a point where I understand we have to have these conversations, but I tweeted this out. I'm trying to stay out of it, and just mentally for me, we're playing until somebody comes out and says we are not playing. In my head,
this is from a coach who's in a league has said that they're not playing.
Right, correct.
So this is what we had 48 hours now. This information we've had 2 coaches come out with a plan that they want to play. I mean, Ryan Day beat him to the punch with his. I want to start January 1.
Yeah.
And so Brahm, sat down with his PowerPoint and he went into greater detail about how to do this. They're fighting for their survival. They know what the ramifications are about not being able to play football at all for a solid year. They know that it's devastating to their university, and so they're trying to figure a way out of it. I don't think Brahm's schedule is workable for all the reasons that you guys are talking about, but I give him credit for trying. I give him credit for trying to think. You have to come up with something new. The old model is not allowed, so come up with. I don't want to just poo-poo all over this at the beginning, because this is a guy that's actually trying to come up with a solution.
And I can appreciate what he's doing. And I said off the top of the show, I think a lot of him. He has a lot of my respect, because I think he does a fantastic job, and he's trying to find a way to get on the field. There's just so many holes in it. So if you come out with a plan, look, you can't be sensitive. It's going to be pulled apart, because there's going to be, in my opinion, too many hurdles to get to the finish line in this plan.
Well, when you start with a blank piece of paper, it's hard. So are there enough things in this thing are there enough good things in this where it's worth?
It's just the time, Hanny. It's just the time, and you can't. The other conferences, even if the other conferences don't play, say the SEC and all the other conferences, they cancel. They're going to want to start on time. They are going to want to start in their normal time.
That scholarship question to me is fascinating too. If half of them play and half of them don't, what are you going to do?
Can we just get back to Huntisms? I mean, Hunt got sick on Big League Chew. Can we just?
Man, I hadn't had some Big League Chew in quite some time.
That's better.
Chaw, the good stuff.
Take a break. We'll be back on the other side. Gene Chizik with us at the top of the 2 o'clock hour. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
You know, if you're thinking about doing some of those property improvements, before you pick up a shovel, you got to pick up a phone and call 811. That's because here in Louisiana, there's just like so many lines that are buried, and some of them right beneath the surface. And you don't want to be that guy that hits a line, knocks out the power for you or your neighbor, hits a water line, hits a communication line. It's so simple and easy to avoid this. So when you're making those improvements on your property, call 811 2 days before you dig.
You're exactly right. Give them your address, and someone will come out and mark that location of those buried lines. It's easy. It's free. It helps prevent utility service interruptions, personal injuries, even death. I mean, this is a serious matter. We've talked about it, so make sure you call 2 full work days before you begin. Wait for the site to be marked. Respect the marks. Always dig with care, especially near the marks. Remember, even if you think it's too small, it is not. You need to call before you dig so they can come out, they can mark it, and everybody stay safe. Call 811 before you dig.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet. And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Tune into a Thursday edition of Game Time with Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz. Tonight we're live from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar from 6 to 8 p.m. Come down to North Boulevard and say hello or listen here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Hunt, you don't wear a onesie to bed every night, do you?
I don't. Okay. I do not.
It's good to know.
More often than not, pajama pants and a t-shirt.
Hunt, what's for lunch?
Hungry Howie's always for lunch, bringing you Hanging with Hester and Hanny and Hunt Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tell you about the great special they've got going every single Tuesday and Thursday. You can get 3 one-topping pizzas for $5 a pizza, $15 total for those 3 pizzas. Go on the app. You can customize your pizza any way you want it. That's kind of how I used to do it, but they've done some of the work for you as well. The Asian chicken pizza, fantastic. You got a tangy Asian sauce, some grilled chicken, green peppers, red onion, mozzarella. Try the bacon cheddar burger pizza. It's ground beef, bacon, cheddar, mozzarella, one of my favorites over there at Hungry Howie's as well. It's all easy to access if you get the Hungry Howie's app. When you download the app, you can get some points and you can get free pizza. You can also go to hungryhowies.com or go to the store. It's on Nicholson, just south of LSU's campus at Lee. Hungry Howie's, home of that delicious flavored crust pizza. They're bringing you Hanging with Hester, Hanny, and Hunt Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Pajama pants?
Yeah, I like pajama pants. Man, I got a few pairs.
I'd start sweating if I wore that.
It's got to be really cold.
Yeah, I make it cold in my house at night.
No, I mean, it's got to be really cold outside
yeah.
To the point where you're getting a chill through the house even if you get the heater and the fire going.
I never turn the heater on.
Hunt thought Justin Fields transferred to LSU yesterday.
I did not think that. I'm on the Miles bus.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Justin Fields, okay, so this is one of these goofy internet rumors. It starts up as soon as a player of his caliber becomes eligible or available, I should say, for whatever reason. If you're Justin Fields, is there any reason to transfer anywhere? I mean, to me, the choice has become very. First of all, if I'm Justin Fields, I'm not going anywhere that doesn't have a chance to win a championship. Okay, so now I've got to go. Now I've got to find a way to get myself to one of maybe 4 or 5 schools. Okay, that's basically it. I mean, you're going to try to get into LSU. You're going to try to get into Alabama. You're going to try to get into Clemson. They've got a quarterback. You're going to try to get into Oklahoma. You're going to try to get into Georgia. He's already been there, so cross those guys off the list. And so where are you going to try to transfer into with 5 weeks before what may be the start of the season or not? And you're not going to play in the spring. I mean, if I was Justin Fields, I would be living in Arizona already. I mean, I'd have left yesterday.
You're not taking your online courses, Hanny?
We're not. If I'm Justin Fields and they cancel the season on Tuesday, I'm taking Tuesday night. I'm packing my stuff. I'm driving across the country, and I'm in Phoenix by the end of the day today or tomorrow. When stops he wants to make, and I'm going to go live. Jacob, tell him what it's like when you're preparing for the draft. You go live in Arizona, right?
Yeah, you go live in Scottsdale.
So what happens when you go? You prepare for the draft. Your agent sets you up. You get into one of these facilities, and you live like what for? It was in your case. It was 4 months, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
all right. So in Fields, he's got to do twice that long. He goes to Phoenix, and what's he doing?
Yeah, they work on every aspect of you. I mean, you meet with a therapist. You go your meal plan, right? If you want to gain a pound, lose a pound, gain 5, lose whatever that is, well, you go over a meal plan and you have it per meal exactly what you can eat. You work out and you work with a Olympic speed coach, someone who's been with the U.S. Olympic team, and you work on your 40 stance and all those things. And so every part of your life is already put into place. Like there's not any part of your day. You meet with a sleep specialist as well. So all of that is something
you're
that you
missing
do for
something
months.
here. This is Scottsdale. Where's the short game coach? Where's the custom driver fitter? Where are the caddies? You meet with what's the deal?
Hunt, I grew up in Sunset Acres in Shreveport. Do you think we had a golf course or we were worried about
it's
our putters?
Scottsdale. That's the only thing to do there.
But if you don't do it, what? The only thing to do in Scottsdale? Have you ever been there?
No.
Oh,
it's
wow.
fantastic.
No, Scottsdale is awesome.
Well, I would play golf every second I was there.
I mean, you can play golf, but there's other things to do. Playboy, back me up here. Thank you.
We went to, I would tell you about the weekend I spent in Scottsdale.
Is Jimmy involved?
No, Jimmy didn't make this trip.
It feels like Jimmy would have been involved.
Here's a typical. If you want to go in March, Hunt, we did this in
spring training.
2001. We were there for 4 days. We saw LSU play Arizona State 3 times in baseball. We saw the Cubs play the Giants for 5 innings in Mesa. We saw the Mariners play the Angels for 5 innings in Tempe. We went and saw the Suns and the Nuggets play basketball. We saw the Avalanche play the Coyotes in hockey. I saw Patrick Waugh in goal. And we drove to the far end of Scottsdale for the Scottsdale Open. We saw Monica Seles and Jennifer Capriati play doubles tennis against 2 European players who I couldn't even pronounce their name or remember them. And we ate lunch at what was then Bank One Ballpark overlooking left field. That was in 4 days. We didn't hardly stop.
The 2001 Cubs, that sounds like Sosa. That sounds like maybe some sort of John Lieber. Sounds like Mark Grace.
It was $2 beer in the outfield. I could have cared less, and the weather was fantastic. All right, so Hess, who foots the bill for all of this to go live in Arizona for 8 months?
So your agent's going to foot the bill, and a guy like Justin Fields, because of where he's going to get drafted, they'll wipe that bill out because they know they're going to make the money off the contract and that 3% or whatever you negotiate. I know. So how about this, Hanny? For my agency, CAA, which is a gigantic entertainment and sports industry, well, they said, okay, well, if you're in the top 70 picks, you don't have to pay this back because of the contract and the number. So if you get picked in the top 70 picks, you don't have to pay it back because we're going to make our money on the other side. Now, if you don't, you got to pay for all this training, which it can be very expensive. I mean, you're talking about housing and not only training, housing and renting a car for 4 months and all those different things, right? I was picked 69.
Nice. Did you ever figure out what you saved?
A lot.
Okay. So
thousands upon thousands.
3%. Is that still standard?
Yeah.
All right. Earlier this week, Fields was picked in McShay's mock draft 4th overall. This year, the 4th pick in the draft got a signing bonus of $21 million. That was Andrew Thomas, the tackle from Georgia.
Right.
So 3% of $21 million. We're talking about $630,000, something like that.
A little bit more, yeah.
Yeah. So you may make that. He goes down to Phoenix and he lives there rent free and expense free. I shouldn't even say rent free, expense free for the next 8 months.
Right.
And then he gets drafted and he gets $21 million. He gives him $650,000.
And another part of that also is that they'll get their money on the marketing side as well. So any deal that they bring to you, which he would have a lot, they're going to get 20% off the top of those marketing deals as well. So they make money off that part, anything like trading cards, autograph signings, any of that. So they make a ton of money there as well. And so the agencies are smart. They know exactly what pick you have to be picked for them to make money.
If he doesn't have Columbus in his rearview mirror by now, he's the most patient person I know. If I knew that I was in his spot and I could be headed to Phoenix to live like this for the next 8 months, and in the meantime, sign this, read this, go do this for millions of dollars you're going to have. And my alternative is what? Stay in Columbus and go to class. I may or may not ever get to play for the Buckeyes again. If I do, it's going to be some kind of truncated schedule that somebody had to dream up so that we could make the budget at Ohio State. I'm out. I mean, I'm done. Or I can go try to crash somebody's culture at one of the half a dozen places that's got a chance to win a championship. I'm going to try to crash into Baton Rouge and indoctrinate myself and get to know all of these guys in 5 weeks for a season that may or may not happen. Man, I'm going to Arizona. I'm done.
Justin Fields is a very talented football player, but it would be so hard to have that chemistry work.
Yeah.
If you join the team. And I don't think anybody
They can't even use a football right now.
Yeah.
You can't come down here and learn an offense.
But even Joe Burrow, who's as advanced football mind as we've seen in college, right? It took him some time to gain that chemistry, the trust, and just a grasp of everything. Because, I mean, even like now, like Cincinnati's coaches are still like, gosh, this guy is way far in advance of the other rookies, and he's, abnormal. That guy took a couple of weeks, months, whatever. So
and even
that's very difficult.
Even if you plugged him in, and I'm sure he would be fine.
He makes some plays.
I mean, my goodness, he's unbelievably talented. But I'm going to Arizona, man. I mean, it's just a much more attractive deal at this point. And I would say that about how many would you say yesterday? 19 of the 32.
I think that's the number, yeah.
19 of the 32 guys in the first round have had their seasons canceled. That's the number. Which
Todd McShay's
mock draft. 19 of the 32 so far have had their seasons canceled. I know they're not all as lucrative as Justin Fields, but even the last pick in the first round, had a signing bonus of $5 million. We know him, right? Clyde got 5.4.
Yeah, Clyde, let me borrow. I mean, when you take me out to dinner?
Clyde got 5.4 to sign and 10.8 overall. I'm going to Arizona, man. I mean, give me some Tex-Mex and some good weather, and
some golf.
I'm done. I'm not hanging around a Big Ten campus, going to class all fall, waiting for these guys to figure it out. I'm out.
I can't argue with it because I agree with you. Sorry.
Hunt, do you agree?
I do agree.
Where's Jimmy? You can disagree with Hanny real quick.
Take a break. Hanging with Hester and Hanny plus Hunt with us on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Tiger Air and the American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning System that immediately had me saving money at my house. It's the efficiency of the unit. I'm talking about a 20 to 30% reduction in my electric bills immediately. Customers are more satisfied with the American Standard. They're built to last. They are worry-free. It's the name you know. It's the name you trust. The programmable thermostat makes it easy for you to control when your air conditioner shifts. You won't be forgetting all the time. You can always change it from your cell phone. That's going to reduce your energy bills even further.
You can go to tiger-air.com to get a free quote, but you can also check out some testimonials as well. From Harry, I've been a customer of Tiger Air since 2008 when I moved into my new home. Since the home was built around 1990, I had Tiger Air replace both air conditioning and heating units with new high-efficiency units. This provided me an excellent decision as my total energy bill for a 3,400 square foot home is only $121 a month. Extremely happy with the service from Tiger Air.
The AL East leading New York Yankees face off again against their longtime rival, the Boston Red Sox.
Coverage begins Saturday afternoon at 5:30 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week. But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help out by visiting brfoodbank.org or bankingonbr.com.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25 years.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dead.
Coming up on Fridays Off the Bench. Watch live on YouTube as Jordy and T-Bob attempt to do an entire segment while eating the hottest wings they can find in Baton Rouge. Plus the latest from college football. Hunt Palmer and Cole Kubelik stop by. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m. 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Just a couple more days to go to 1045ESPN.com. Now through the weekend to take your quiz, see how prepared you are for hurricane season. Everyone who takes the quiz will instantly put their name in the drawing for a brand new EU1000 generator from Bozeman Distributors. Get prepared and stay prepared for hurricane season with 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and Bozeman Distributors.
I've been corrected. It's not Tex-Mex in Scottsdale. It's authentic.
It's authentic.
Mex.
Yeah, it's authentic Mex.
You lived out there for a short period of time, so you can speak to this.
And I go anytime LSU's up for the Fiesta Bowl. Let's try to go there unless it's a championship situation.
I've been not for the Fiesta Bowl, but I've been. It's a fantastic part of the country.
So a story that I feel like would be best on flestering, but I think it's going to play here as well. The Seattle Seahawks have cut a rookie cornerback this week after he was caught on video trying to sneak a female visitor into the team hotel. So obviously, clear message on the responsibility everyone has for NFL's COVID-19 list. And also, in addition to the story, the woman was wearing Seahawks gear in an attempt to disguise her as a player.
Excellent work. You got to respect the hustle.
This security staff, I guess, realized when they probably saw someone 5'2" or 5'3" walking in. Wait, what position do you play? I mean, you got yourself cut, but A for effort,
making it work.
I did ask you earlier about trying to keep the players, the college players, in a pseudo bubble.
But a young player like that, that's like a veteran wouldn't even do that. Like there was no way I would ever try to sneak my wife into training camp hotel. Like that's day one stuff. You don't do that. Come on, man. Setting up the rest of your life.
There's so many thoughts coming to my head right
Me
now.
too.
None of them that I can say without getting fined.
Right.
This is a story for Flynn, though, right? He
very
would
much so.
he would definitely know. Nebraska walked their comments back today. Their president, Ted Carter, came out in the strongest possible language. University of Nebraska is fully committed as a member of the Big Ten Conference. It is an unparalleled athletic and academic conference. We're the greatest fans in college athletics. It's been a difficult and disappointing week. We all look forward to the day when we can cheer our student athletes on the field and in the arena in the Big Ten. Pay no attention to what our football coach is saying. Please send me the $55.4 million check that comes along with being in the Big Ten.
I wasn't as hurt with what Nebraska said, Hunt. I don't know if you listened yesterday, and Desmond Howard got up on ESPN, and of course he had some comments for him saying you just leave the Big 20. I think he said get your ass out of the Big.
Well, he wanted the Big Ten to kick them out.
Yeah, they were trying to play football. And Scott Frost, is a guy that they underachieved so far at his time in Nebraska. He might feel like he has a better team. They were trying anything they could to try to create some leverage to play some football. Let's relax on kicking them out of the Big Ten.
No, Desmond's got takes, Jacob.
11 a.m.
He's got takes. You got to get some clicks on Twitter. He won the Heisman, okay?
And Super Bowl MVP as well.
That's true.
I was talking to a car dealer once, and he explained the relationship to me this way with Detroit. He said, listen, we argue all the time. We have disagreements. We talk about inventory. We talk about pricing. We talk about rebates. We talk about warranties. We talk about everything on the sun. And sometimes we get into some really heated discussions, and we have strong disagreements at times. But I never forget who my partner is. And I think that's what happened with Frost. Look, we can debate this about whether we should play or not play as long as you want. This is what the president is probably telling his football coach. And you can be mad, and that's okay. We're mad too. We're disappointed. We're upset. But at the end of the day, the Big Ten cuts us a check for $55.6 million. And so at the end of the day, if that's what they say, then we got to just take that and do the best we can with it, because that's what is a large part of running our athletic department. Never forget who your partner is. This is what you signed up for. You may not like it.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Something along those lines. And so he had to walk that back today. I don't think we never really thought that Nebraska was going to be able to play and stay in the Big Ten, right? I mean, we never thought they were going to schedule Texas Tech.
The only thing that could have happened at all if 6 teams would have been, trying to create something, and maybe there was some pressure there, but it was never going to be a singular team.
No, they could have got, say, Iowa was one of the other teams, and maybe 2 or 3 others to go along with them. That didn't happen.
Something we hadn't talked about. I know we've got about a minute left for a hard break. What in the hell is Jim Harbaugh going to do for 5 months? Doesn't it only end with him driving his players into the ground?
Somebody like Harbaugh, I could see him going Bryson DeChambeau. He shows up in 5 months and he's just jacked up, man. He just got in the weight room and just lost his mind, right? Would it surprise you?
No. Nothing would surprise me with Harbaugh.
Hunt, have a good weekend, man.
Well, I'm going to go watch some golf. Both LSU boys up in their matches on the back 9, so let's hope they can pull them out.
There you go. This is round of 16?
Round of 32 right now.
Round of 32, trying to get to the round of 16. Former Auburn coach Gene Chizik is with us when we return. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, brought to you by Richard's Honda, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is big, really big. I mean, really, really, really big. Because Honda's summer clearance event is going on right now at Richard's Honda. With 0 to the 4th power on brand new Honda Civics. That's 0 down, 0 due at signing, 0 security deposit, and 0 first month payment. Plus, summer clearance on every new vehicle in stock. Just another reason why people call Richard's Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
Do you know the proper way to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in your office? We do. We're Janny King, a leader in the cleaning industry for over 30 years, and we've developed comprehensive programs to address proper cleaning and disinfection. We have experience in applying disinfecting programs in hospitals, office buildings, schools, and other venues. Now we're ready to help and able to assist customers that need disinfecting services.
Janny King, the king of clean.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Callahan Injury Lawyers. Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hey, good afternoon. Hour number 3, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 1130 The Tiger. You're watching along with us on CST, our YouTube channel. 104.5 ESPN. We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Joining us now from the SEC Network, former Auburn head coach Gene Chizik. Coach, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, guys. How are y'all doing today?
Well, we're hanging in there and hope that you're staying safe as well. Coach, I got to ask, if you were coaching a team in this environment right now, and trying to conduct workouts and trying to conduct a preseason, what would your approach be given the challenges that coaches are experiencing right now?
Well, I think the first thing, guys, is transparency to your team. As you can see right now, this day and age, you can see that the players are very empowered, and they will call you out if they don't feel like what you're doing is protocol-wise is what's expected and what's right. So the main thing is obviously there's protocols in places at every school, and that's really the most important thing right now, making sure that these players understand that we're going to do everything we can in our power to keep them safe, to, train to a standard, to train to a high level. But their number one, or our number one interest as coaches, is player safety. And I think transparency and communication, constant communication with these guys, with their parents, I think that's number one. Look, they're all going to go out there and run. They're all going to go out there and do their workouts. They're all going to do their social distancing. All of the strength coaches, all of the medical people at every school are making sure that while they're in the building, that's going to be done right. But let's be honest, guys, the biggest downfall that you can see, get on Twitter any day you want, and you're going to see players potentially calling out schools, coaches, for potentially not doing things right. So you got to be transparent. You got to communicate with your guys, and they have to know without a doubt that your number one priority is their safety, and they'll do anything for you.
Chiz, I don't know how these coaches are keeping the mindset together. I don't know how they're keeping their players focused and engaged, because it just seems like everything is changing. Every single day when you open up the news, something is different. And these coaches, I don't envy them trying to make sure their guys stay engaged mentally, even more than physically.
Yeah, Jacob, I think that's really been lost in the translation of all this. My son's a college football player. I literally got a text 2 days ago from a great friend of mine who is the coordinator at a top 10 school. And one of the questions and one of the things he said to me, he texted me and he said, "Are we going to play or not?" This is several days ago. He says, "Are we going to play or not? It's really tough on our players right now, going through this grind, trying to maintain the protocols that are expected, yet not knowing whether we're even going to play a game." And I think that that's terrible. I think that's horrible for coaches. I think it's horrible for the players. It's really tough. And I think that, everybody's so interested in what are we doing for protocols, and what is this league going to do, and what is that league going to do? Let's be mindful of the players. This is a beatdown for guys who don't know exactly what is happening. And look, the quicker we can get answers, which we have obviously got some lately, the better it is going to be for the players.
Coach, what about for the players that have an answer at this point, but that answer is no? For those players that are going to be drafted, or those players that are looking at the possibility of spring football, and whether that's a feasible option in your mind?
Yeah, guys, I'm heartbroken for the guys in the Big Ten and the Pac-12. I really am. I think it's an enigma to me. Look, I don't have all the answers, and I'm not sitting in all of the meetings, and I know I'm not privileged to those. So everybody on the outside can have an opinion. What I don't get is this, and this is what bothers me, Jacob, to the point of asking about the players and the mental health of the players and where the players are in this. So put yourself in these shoes, okay? You come in 6 weeks ago, and they give you a protocol, and you follow that protocol. You do exactly what they ask you to do, whether it's the social distancing part, what you do when you leave the building, all the things that you're supposed to do. And let's take Michigan as the example. You do everything right. They've had 0 positive tests in the last 353, as Jim Harbaugh stated, right? So you know what, Coach, we did everything you asked us to do. And then 5 days after they come out with a conference schedule or with a season schedule, without any sort of catastrophic event happening that changes the direction, that changes the information, that changes the medical experts' minds because they found something new, you go from DEFCON 3 or 4 to DEFCON 1 and shut it down. Now, look, you just asked me to do all these things, and we've done it, and we've proven based on what you told me would work, we've proven that this is doable, and without any change, you go from DEFCON 3 or 4 to DEFCON 1, and you drop the bomb. I'm sick for the players, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Just, you know this as well as anybody, right? We're creatures of habit, right? We start our schedule in January. We work until spring football. Then we get to spring football, and then we work till summer workouts. We get to summer workouts. We're working for training camp to get in shape for that training camp. And then training camp, it's all about the little things. And then we stay on schedule. And you're exactly right. So these players have had their spring football canceled. They had to go back home and have virtual learning. And then they come back on campus and they work their butts off to get ready for what they think to be a training camp. And then they kind of start training camp. And then they're told, wait a minute, you can't do that. We got to take the ball away. You got to go back a step. You don't take 2 steps forward. You're actually going 3 steps back. And then all of a sudden you get a schedule and you get excited because you think, okay, I've got a schedule. We're going to play. And then when that gets canceled, exactly right. I am absolutely heartbroken for these players because you and I both know what it takes to get ready for a single season. And it takes 7-8 months to get ready for 12 games. And then now you've got to stay engaged for 5 more months. So you're going to have workouts. You're going to have drills out there on the field, 20-hour-a-week rules. And I've got to stay engaged for 5 months before a spring football season. I mean, the mental aspect of this is getting lost. I completely agree with you, Coach.
Yeah, the spring football thing to me, guys, and I know what, you can read it on whatever social media platform you want to go to, but now there's people in the Big Ten saying, hey, this really looks like it's doable and it'll work, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just going to be frank with you. I'm absolutely against the spring season, period. I don't like it. You talk about the mental health of players, Jacob. Let me tell you something. Playing 2 seasons in 1 year, I don't care if you cut down the number of games. I don't care if you have this great, schedule in mind. The bottom line is, here's what I know about players. Football is a grind. The mental part of the grind is as bad or as difficult or as hard as the physical part. That's the meeting. That's the, am I going to start? How much am I going to play? That's the, all the things mentally that you have to prepare yourself for. The grind of the 6:30 a.m. workouts during the season, 2 or 3 of them a week. All the things that happen. If you're going to turn around and ask players to do this twice in a calendar year, makes 0 sense. Because here's what I know. In a full 12-game season, a player is going to play, if you're a starter, on offense or defense, anywhere between 850 to 1,000 plays, okay? So that's a lot of plays. That's talking about gameplay. That's not even talking about practice reps. So the spring season, to me, although people now are fighting and clawing and scratching to, try to find a way to, get back out there, it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't want to hear anything about a spring schedule. You do everything you can to play this game in the fall, and if you can't, then so be it. But you give these student athletes every opportunity to keep them safe, but yet still be in concert with having a season. And this spring ball, and let's be honest, who knows in January if anything will be any different than it is now. So I'm not a fan of it.
Coach, I'm curious how you would be approaching recruiting right now. If the two questions that you were to get most often were, number one, is your school taking safety serious enough because you're playing football while other people aren't? Or the inverse of that, which is you're not taking football serious enough because you're not playing while other conferences are playing, and trying to balance those two things. How would you approach recruiting right now?
Well, for the parents that would question and the young man that would question, why are we playing? I would simply point out to hard, cold facts. And the stats are, and it's real simple, guys, the stats don't support that right now that there ought to be an all-out abandonment of the sport with this age group. You can go on the website for the CDC. You can look at exactly what age groups are being affected. The 18 to 22-year-old is just really not factually strong in terms of pointing out that this is an age group that is at risk. The second thing I would say is that I think football can be conducted safely. I think it can be conducted in concert with the best interest of the players, because we have committees that are put together that have created protocols, and we're going to follow these protocols to a T, because the number one priority is player safety. That's the bottom line. And if your son gets it, we have really, really good return to play protocol in place as well. And this school, my school, every school is committed to gathering continuous information as to whether we're moving forward or not. And if in the event it comes that something comes out and it's time to put it to a screeching halt, put a pause on it, we're going to do that if we think that the player safety is at risk. That's the bottom line. And then for the ones that say, hey, look, you guys aren't playing football, it's not important to you, you're going to have to defend your honor, because obviously, and look, there's some schools that are not on board with that in the Big Ten. They're just not on board with the decision. I don't know about the Pac-12, but the Big Ten guys, there's some people that just aren't on board with that. So, but you have some defending of your honor to do, because I promise you this, if I'm a coach and I'm recruiting against schools who canceled football and we ended up playing it, that would absolutely be something that would be in the recruiting repertoire.
I don't think there's any question there. And I love that you made that point right there at the end, because it's going to be a gigantic recruiting tool, because this hasn't been, like we mentioned, this hasn't been the best year for recruiting. Coach O would love to be able to throw recruits through that trophy case and show them the Heisman Trophy and the National Championship Trophy. They haven't been able to do that. But I really, truly, just feel bad for the first-year coaches. We've got 4 new ones in our conference. They haven't been able to create those relationships. They haven't even been able to have guys on their campus right for camps. But if the SEC plays and those other schools don't, I think you're exactly right. You're leaps and bounds above where they could be.
Yeah, you're right. And let me tell you, back to your comment about the 4 coaches. I've talked to several people on these staffs, and it's tough, man. I mean, you're sitting out there trying to coach these guys. You haven't had a spring ball with them. All your meetings right now have basically been through Zoom. Technology's provided that. This is a tall order for these guys, and it's going to be tough. But I will tell you this. I am very proud of Greg Sankey. I'm very proud of the SEC digging their cleats in and saying, look, you know what? We are listening to our student athletes. Look, we're not minimizing the risk that is out there, but we're listening to our student athletes. We're going to do everything in our power to give them an opportunity to play the game they love, Jacob, right?
Yep.
This, in their mind, this is the most important thing in their lives as we speak. And they want to be heard. And let's be honest, guys. If you had players 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, in droves coming out and saying, we don't want to play, how quick would they have aborted the season? But now you have players that are coming out in droves saying, we do want to play, but we're not going to listen to them. So which one are you going to do? Are you listening to them or are you not listening to them? And look, but hey, I thought Bob Bowlesby made a great statement yesterday. One of the best things that I thought he said, he says, no medical experts that they consulted with thought it was poorly advised to go ahead and play given the protocols that were in place. Doesn't that say it all? I mean, that says it all to me. So they listen to their student athletes. They're listening to the medical experts. They don't know that this thing's going to be 100% go, but they're doing everything in their power to give these guys a chance to play the sport they love. That's the bottom line.
I tell you what, Chiz, you've got me fired up. You need to give pregame speeches more. I forgot how good you were at this deal.
Well, I feel passionate about it, guys. I really do. I love this game. I've been associated with it for 50 years, and the players love it, and the coaches love it, and the fans love it, and I don't want to go and put myself or anybody in harm's way. Look, my son plays, okay? But I will tell you this. It's a shame if you're not giving somebody, these young men, every single opportunity, and then tell me no. Yep. And then we can go ahead and have a discussion.
Chiz, good luck putting up with Chris Doering during football season, by the way. Best of luck to you putting up with CD.
Yeah, that's a tall order right there, guys. But we're looking forward to it, man. I'm hoping and praying that this thing goes through and we can have another great college football season in 2020.
Thank you, Coach. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Gene Chizik with us here on Hangin with Hester and Hanny.
He literally, I had chills. Like, he was getting me ready to go. I mean, the guy's won a national championship. I know, he knows what he's doing. But, man, that pregame speech, sign me up.
Be back in a moment with more. Hangin with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny.
All right, brought to you by our title sponsor, Richards Honda. You can find them physically at 13413 Millville Greens Boulevard in Baton Rouge. Over 700 new and premium vehicles there on the lot over at I-12 and Millville. If you're looking for a car, they've got the Accord, the Civic, and the Fit. If you're looking for a hybrid, they have a full fleet of hybrids with the Accord hybrid, the Clarity plug-in hybrid, the CRV hybrid, which is that midsize SUV hybrid, which they just added, the Insight as well. Speaking of midsize SUVs, they've got you covered with the CRV, the HRV, and the Passport. They have the full-size SUV, the Honda Pilot, which seats 8. They've got the Odyssey minivan. It's got every feature that you can possibly imagine, including a vacuum in the back of it. If you have small children like I do, you know why that is needed. You've got the Ridgeline truck. So as you can tell, no matter where you're at in your life, no matter what your lifestyle calls for, they're going to have something over at Richards Honda that fits that and meets your needs to some and more. Don't forget to check them out online at richardshonda.com. That's Richards Honda, as always, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
When you want the best of Louisiana, you don't go to a superstore. We know what we like, and we like it local. Same goes for banking. As one of Louisiana's largest local banks, we offer homegrown services crafted around you. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Saints are on the practice field, and looks like we're going to have an SEC season. We'll talk about it with Mike D. Join us, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge, and 1130 The Tiger.
Hester out doing burpees in the hall during the
let's
break, man.
go,
That was
man.
that was
Just
good.
it was a positive energy. It was high energy, and I'll be honest with you, if anybody is passing those things out right now, sign me up for the class because damn it, I am coming. This is a guy in Gene Chizik that has been through the scenarios. He has won a championship at the highest level of collegiate athletics. He's won a national title, and just to hear some of his points and thoughts, I've thoroughly enjoyed that, and I'm glad that he agrees with me on the spring football season.
All right, so there's a couple out of the Bayou Ford huddle that still exists for another day or so, and I'll get to these. And we're gonna by the way, we're gonna transfer this into our YouTube chat, so you'll still be able to chat with us during the show when the huddle goes away. But for the moment, I'm gonna take some of these. Here's the ones we get that I hear that most of. It seems like we don't care about the kids. We're worried about the dollar bill and recruiting. Yeah, okay. So at what point do they not care about the kids? Was it when they put in these draconian protocols to keep them safe? Was it the point where they offered them a no-strings-attached way out and keep their scholarship? Was it when they were going to meeting after meeting, meeting with doctor after doctor, trying to figure out a safe way to do this for those that wanted to, with nobody forcing anybody to do anything that they didn't want to do, except maybe at Florida State? At what point do they not care about the kids? Because there are quite a few ramifications to them not playing too. We've been through a lot of them.
Spending thousands of dollars on testing.
Yeah, right. At all of this, at extreme costs, with no guarantee of any revenue to pay for this on the back end. You want to get me really aggravated? Get any public official, president, governor, mayor, congressman, senator, anybody that gets up there and talks about all of the ramifications of the COVID and not one time brings up any of the economic issues that come along with it. And I don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, white, black. I don't care. You get up there and you speak to all of those things and don't say anything about how anybody's going to pay for it. Send everybody home. Here's $1,200. Good luck. Man, look, you want to get me fired up? Start with that. All of these protocols were put through to try to keep the kids safe. And yet they said, if you don't feel comfortable, you can go home and keep your scholarship. Somebody's still paying for that scholarship. One of the things that really drives me crazy is when they cancel the seasons earlier, like, well, take all of these protocols, do all of those things, have them in the pseudo bubble, have them with personal chefs, have them with separate living quarters, have them with virtual learning, have them with medical professionals, have them tested 3 times a week. Just don't play football. Football's what pays for all of that crap. At some point, you got to sell a damn ticket. Yeah. You got to put a game on TV. It ain't all free. We don't think you should work. We think you should go home, says the millionaire. Go to hell. Okay, I got to pay my bills. Universities got to pay their bills. Yes, there's going to be some risk. I understand that. And if this were the Will Smith movie, okay, and everybody that came into contact with anybody that ever had dropped dead and became a zombie on the site, then yeah. In the meantime, can we find a way to work through this, okay, and stop ridiculing everybody or criticizing everybody that's trying to find a way through this? No, it's not perfect. I don't like Jeff Brom's plan, but I respect the hell out of him for trying to find a way that these kids can still go to school for free, that they can still pursue a career in this, that they can keep them safe while they're doing it. I have just had it up over my eyeballs with the quit and go home crowd. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm on the verge of just not being able to listen to those people. I want to hear different opinions. I want to hear different ways through this. But quit, go home until we get a vaccine and no work and no play and no nothing and stay in your house, and every 3 or 4 months we'll figure out a way to send you $1,200. Man, you can take that and you can stick it where the sun don't shine. I'm done with you if that's your solution.
Hanny, I don't need to talk after that segment.
I've had my say. If the whole idea about if you're trying to find a way to work, if you're trying to find a way to go to school, if you're trying to find a way to live, then you don't care about people, man, screw you. I'm serious. I just had enough. Get me to a yes. Come back on the other side.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny. We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Here at the Big Squeezy, we continue to serve the Baton Rouge and Southeast Louisiana areas during these troubling times. We are dedicated to providing you healthy food items to help you live your best life. From our cold-pressed juices to our delicious smoothies, let the Big Squeezy keep you going. Stay active, stay happy, and let us help you stay healthy. Visit us at our locations and also inside of Alexander's and Mathern's grocery stores or online at thebigsqueezy.com.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
1045 ESPN invites you to take a short quiz for a chance to win a brand new EU1000 generator from our friends at Bozeman Distributors. Simply go to 1045ESPN.com now through August 16th and take the quiz to see how prepared you are for hurricane season. Everyone who takes the quiz is automatically entered to win the generator. Our winner will be chosen on Monday, August 17th. Get prepared for hurricane season from 1045 ESPN and stay prepared with Bozeman Distributors.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week. But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help out by visiting brfoodbank.org or bankingonbr.com.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning.
Tune into a Thursday edition of Game Time with Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz. Tonight we're live from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar from 6 to 8 p.m. Come down to North Boulevard and say hello, or listen here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
See, Playboy Marty getting nervous over there?
Yeah, I did.
Not because of me, because
I think a little
because
both.
the Suns play in about 30 minutes.
A little of both.
Every now and then something gets a little bit under my skin there.
Yeah, can I continue getting you fired up? What is your triggers? Alabama football? Can we talk about Alabama football here?
You know, I probably been holding that in for way too long. I probably should have kind of let that out in increments over the course of the last 5 months. But I've tried to keep the and it's not politics, it's economics. So don't think that I'm going off one side or the other. It's a frustration, and I know that I'm not the only one out there that's frustrated. But I do get a wee bit weary of the constant beatdown of people that are trying to get better, that are trying to do better, that are trying to solve problems.
And the people that are getting the beatdown in towns that are going to be so affected by not having.
Yeah. They're trying to save their
those
livelihoods.
Saturdays in the fall. They are. They're trying to survive. And look, we're not sitting here talking. We know that this is a serious issue. We know that. We're taking precautions. I mean, we wear a mask everywhere we go. We did it way before that you had to wear the mask. And we've got 17 bottles of hand sanitizer in here. And you know, the building is limited. We can only have so many people in here.
You walk through this building right now.
It's been like that.
I realize everybody's not in our building, but walking through this building in February and walking through this building right now, and there's no comparison. I worked in this building for 20 years, and there's no comparison as to how it feels right now. Okay, we understand there's not a single person that hasn't been affected by this. And no, we don't want anybody to get sick. We don't want anybody to die, but we don't want to quit on the problem either. Yeah. And I hear way too much quit on the problem. And we'll let you know when there's a vaccine. And in the meantime, just that's it. No, I I can't accept that. I'm done accepting that.
There's places that we have all been to before that we know and love that probably won't survive this.
Yeah, there's a lot, and we understand that on the other side of this, whenever that is, it's going to look different. It's going to be different, but help us work through it, man. And when somebody like Chiz comes on and gives you some kind of feedback, I understand where he's coming from. I understand I understand the fears of the people that have to make these decisions. Don't think that I don't. But again, work through it.
And can I say too, if you think that these college coaches don't care for these young men, and you think that they're only a piece of meat that they use for 4 years, then you just don't know relationships that sports can bring you. Look, North Turner calls me all the time, texts me all the time, checks on me. How are you? How are the boys? Les Miles calls me all the time. Talk to Coach Saban. Still, once a year, I'll get a text. I'll get a text from Coach Saban, blah, 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 checking on you. Coach O, who I didn't even play for. When I see him, he asked about my family. These coaches, they care. It means something to them. That relationship, they take a father role in your life. They are like second fathers. In some cases, they're like the only father that you have in these cases. And so they care about your well-being. They're not just going to roll you out there because of dollars and cents. I know a lot of you want to believe that, but trust me, from somebody who's been in those buildings, who has those relationships, who talks to these people, they care about the well-being of their student athletes, right?
They do, because it's very easy to say, well, they make millions and millions of dollars. There's not a one of them that walked into that job making that. They all started out as an assistant to an assistant, probably in an unpaid position. I mean, to work yourself up to where you're making the money that a Southeastern Conference head coach is making, you had to start somewhere. And probably when you did that, you were an assistant to an assistant if you were on an NFL staff, and you were a graduate assistant that was not being paid at the college level. You had to put a base in place to be able to ascend to this kind of level of coaching, and you had to do it for a long time for very little money. And for every Ed Ogeron that makes $1 million, there's how many coaches out there that scratch out a living? We're talking about high school coaches, small college coaches that work an awful lot. I mean, you can't. Well, they're in it for the money. Well, there's a handful of guys that are making life-altering money. There's 100 or so in college football.
But to your point, it took 17 steps to get to that point for the most part.
If there's 200 guys in college football that are making life-changing money, there are 2,000 that are scratching out a living. Scratching out a good living in a lot of cases, but if you're coaching at a Division II school, it's not like you're living in a mansion. You don't take the yacht out on the weekends. There are a few that make it like that. So and you think I just got frustrated for a moment. Imagine the conversation in the homes of the players and coaches that had it all shut down on Tuesday. That's a tough day, right? I mean, that makes you just want to go out and just beat your head up against that wall.
Every coach that I interviewed on this show, on the SiriusXM show, every coach, to a man, to a woman, when I asked them what's the most difficult part of this right now, they said, I don't know where my players are, and I cannot protect my players when I don't know where they're at. That was the biggest thing. That's the thing that struck them, because they felt like they have taken over a parental role for them, and they didn't have the ability to be able to care or keep their players safe. I'm talking about every single one that I asked that question to had the same answer, because they want to make sure their players are safe. They want to have that role in their life, and they have taken that responsibility. Because look, is there bad coaches out there that think the wrong way? Yeah, probably. But 9 out of 10, when they go in those living rooms and they look your mom, your dad in the eye, right? Well, they have to stand behind that word. And so that was a very difficult situation for those coaches. And now that they had them back, they felt like, Jim Harbaugh, he felt like, look, we've had 300-something tests. We haven't had any positives come back. I'm keeping my players safe right now. And then it gets canceled.
That's it. And there was one of the things that he said that I really, really agree with was they put all of these protocols in place and they were working. They're still working at the places where football is still a possibility. And so when that tweet came out of Florida State earlier today, and it's like, we're going to have a final vote. Really? Well, today? Because if you were still going forward before today, then there's no way you can say absolutely everything is going to be fine at the end of September today. So if you're going to vote today, it's going to be no. If you're going to vote today that it's going to be no, then why'd you go to all of this length to put these protocols in and see if they were working? There's another big the big hurdle to me is not the padded practices. It really isn't. I think that those guys are in close enough proximity in that building, working out and, eating, living in the same place every day. I know they're trying to social distance. I know they're masking up, but they're in contact with each other enough that I don't know that amongst the players themselves that there's going to be much more transmission of the virus between them once they start padded practice. The issue is when you put 30,000 people on the LSU campus and then you're interacting with them. And no, they may not be going to the same crowded classrooms that they were before. And no, they may not have to go into as many campus classrooms with the distance learning, the virtual learning. But I've lived in Baton Rouge for 3 decades, and there's no greater transformation of how this city operates than every August when the campus fills back up. It feels like Baton Rouge goes to sleep every May and wakes up every August. I've lived here for 3 decades, okay? That's just how it feels to me. That's how it feels to move from place to place, and it certainly feels that way if you live anywhere in South Baton Rouge near that campus. That's what is going to happen here. And at that point, we expect the numbers to go up. Can they be controlled? They think they can. Well, let's see. And that to me has been the biggest hurdle overall for all of these campuses, because I don't imagine, there's much difference between Baton Rouge restocking LSU and Tuscaloosa restocking Alabama and Athens restocking Georgia and Tallahassee restocking Florida State and so on. When you put that kind of population back into the city, let's see what happens. And at that point, if they can get past that, then I think we got a real shot to do this thing.
That's why Notre Dame was a really good test study for us to see coming back on campus what those numbers were going to look like. And I kind of joked before the show. I said I never thought I'd be logging into Notre Dame's dashboard for COVID testing, but that's really going to be a model for a big campus, a campus that's already back, and we know what their football testing numbers look like. And so we're going to have to follow this. We're going to have to follow who's back on campus. What do those numbers look like? How bad was the spike? If there was a big jump in the spike when students came back to class. And so Notre Dame's going to be kind of the test study there to find out exactly what that looks like. But also something else we've talked about, virtual learning in almost every case that they can is what LSU is going to do. Guys like Miles Brennan, who's already graduated, is going to take all of his courses online. He won't be on campus, and he's not the only one, and we're not talking about him just because he's the quarterback. There's going to be guys that have graduated already that's what they're going to do, and they're going to try everything they can outside of a lab, which you can't do virtually. They're going to try to create that schedule, and LSU's not unique in that way.
No,
everybody's going to try to do it.
We'll take our final break of the afternoon, come back with your questions. Ask us when we come back here, hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, we're brought to you by Baton Rouge Foundation Repair. Been servicing the greater Baton Rouge area for more than 22 years. Baton Rouge Foundation Repair offers services to correct the settlement of both slab foundations and pier and beam foundations as well. You can also level your above-ground wooded frame house with Baton Rouge Foundation Repair. Check out their website, brfoundation.com. There you can check out their warranties on their slab foundation repairs and their pier and beam foundation repairs. You can also check out a full gallery of past projects that they've done, some before and afters, and it gives you just an idea of what they can do for the settlement of your house. Don't be asked to pay twice for your foundation repair work. Get Baton Rouge Foundation's water shield pilings, and remember, estimates, they are always free. All you have to do is pick up the phone, give them a call at 225-275-0101. That's 225-275-0101. Or you can check out that website that I gave you earlier, brfoundation.com.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
What happens? Anybody can tell you what happened. What does it mean? Less people can do that. But we're going to focus on what happens next.
Mornings, 5 to 7, starting Monday on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Coming up on Fridays Off the Bench. Watch live on YouTube as Jordy and T-Bob attempt to do an entire segment while eating the hottest wings they can find in Baton Rouge. Plus, the latest from college football. Hunt Palmer and Cole Kublik stop by. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Ask Us today is brought to you by Supreme Rice, a perfect complement for every meal. Supreme Rice out of Crowley, Louisiana, grown, milled, and processed right here in South Louisiana. So support your Louisiana farmers, whether it's etouffee or gumbo, white beans or red beans, or any of the great recipes you can get on their website, Supreme Rice. We love the jasmine rice, but the long grain and the brown rice, outstanding as well. Really will stretch your food dollars, so make it Supreme Rice. A happy palate and a happy family with our friends at Supreme Rice. Very easy to get. You can get it at all of your Rouses, all your Costco's, all of your Walmarts, and all of your AG food dealers. So for more information and for great recipes, go to supremerice.com. Ask Hanny, any chance of tailgating this season? You had a tweet from a release from Texas Tech during the break.
So Texas Tech is still trying to get 25% of their stadium capacity as long as you wear a face covering. So you have to have a mask on. Obviously, the sidelines is going to as well, but they are still trying to get people in the stands. Let's not forget Ray Tanner, South Carolina AD, said the same thing earlier this week. And so not only the SEC and the Big 12 planning to move forward, but they're also still continuing to try to get some butts in the seats.
Yeah, I think it's optimistic.
Yeah.
I think that if we have sports, if we have football in the fall, it's going to be in front of virtually nobody. Little or zero crowd, and I think probably closer towards zero. So do I think there's going to be tailgating? No, I don't. Ask us, if it turns out the end result is a canceled or postponed season, would you rather the SEC have pulled a plug early like the Big Ten, or kept hope alive and dragged out our misery? This one's an easy one for me. Work it until there's no chance left at all. Okay, if they've gone through all of this stuff, Jacob, and they get to a point next week, the week after the students show up and say, listen, we just can't control this thing in a football environment. We got to shut it down. And I'll say, you know what? They did what they could. And it stinks, but if they come out and they say, listen, this will run rampant and we can prove it scientifically and all that, and we don't have any other choice but to set this thing down, or we're going to lose significant amounts of people, then they did what they could.
That's what we've been praising the SEC and the leadership for, is their patience. You don't have to make a decision. You still have some time. Move it back a couple of weeks. Even if it would have been Hanny the first weekend of October, I would have been okay with that. Just give yourself that time. And who knows, it could be, but they have the ability still. They still gave themselves a window enough to say, okay, we can move it back here or there, but they are being patient and not rushing to a decision, and they're trying to see if the protocols, which they actually worked months and months and months on, are going to work out and play.
Ask us, do you think Georgia regrets going with Jake Fromm over Justin Fields?
At the time, look, Jake Fromm had beat out Jacob Eason, and so he was a very proven, steady quarterback in the SEC. Justin Fields was going to be the guy that, if you gave him some time, could probably do what he did last year at Ohio State. And it looks worse because Jake Fromm digressed last year. His play was not the same in his junior season that it was his sophomore season. So, look, I think Jake Fromm was a steady player, but Justin Fields, he's an elite talent.
Remind me the OC's name at Georgia.
Now Todd Monken.
No, but before.
James Coley.
Yeah. I think they'll regret not changing OCs. More so. I think if you'd have put Justin Fields in that offense, I think he would have performed really, really well. But I think ultimately that was holding it back. I could say the same thing about LSU's offense, for years was, there's some pretty talented quarterbacks that came through here that were held back. And, I think Justin Fields would have done really well. But if you wanted to see the Justin Fields at Ohio State, you needed to run Ohio State's offense. I think they'll regret not moving on from that offense more so than anything. Let's see. Ask us, National Left-Handers Day. What's your 3 favorite left-handers of all time?
Knox Hester.
Okay.
Yeah, my 8-year-old. That'd be number 1. I've got 2 sister-in-laws that are left-handed, so got to keep the family there. Favorite lefty of all time. Are we talking like just lefty hitting? Because I hit left-handed.
I just asked you the whole question. That's it. Interpret it however you want.
Tom Glavine.
Yeah, I would have. Okay, for sure. Let me see. Steve Carlton, Ken Stabler, and Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts.
She's left-handed.
Okay.
I don't know why I know that, but she's. Oh, I do know why I know that, because in one of the Ocean's movies, there's a bit in there about she's the character that Julia Roberts is playing is faking being the actual Julia Roberts in the movie, and Bruce Willis, who does a cameo in the thing, says, "Oh no, she's left-handed," and the character's right. So
Billy Wagner, love seeing him throw some heat.
Oh yeah, the maybe the hardest throwing sub-6 foot pitcher.
Yeah.
In the last I don't know 50 years. Let's see. Ask us, can you play that rant every day to open the show until a kickoff happens? Cade's already processing it, putting it somewhere.
Let's put that as one of our interviews, maybe. So
get me to a yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to own this one. Let's see. Ask us, can we have a huge funeral for the Huddle tomorrow?
Ooh, just y'all know what we think of the Huddle here on this show. I mean, we love the interaction. Hopefully, you will join us in our YouTube chat because it hurts us as well.
Ask us, National Filet Mignon Day, best that you've ever had.
Best that I've ever had. See, restaurants do a fantastic job, and I could give you a restaurant and Stabs and Doe's and Rufino's, all those, and they are fantastic. But I do have to give my wife some credit. My wife in a cast iron skillet cooks a mean filet, and she knows exactly how I like it. I mean, look, let it barely touch that cast iron and pull it back up on both sides and put it on a plate.
Yeah, I have a he's passed now, but I had what would have been my great uncle, I think, or maybe maybe he was just a cousin, but he ran a restaurant down in Golden Meadow, Louisiana. You ever been to Golden Meadow? Don't speed. You got to get
like
through,
Crop Springs. Don't speed.
Yeah, it's very much. It's even worse. But if you've ever been to Grand Isle, you've been through Golden Meadow. And for decades there, he ran a restaurant called Randolph's Restaurant. His name was Randolph Jeremy, and he was, to my knowledge, him and my grandmother, the two best cooks ever. So Randolph Jeremy made you a filet mignon or whatever it is he was cooking. That one is it for me. The restaurant it closed years after he passed, but for me, that's it. Let's see. Ask us politics out of the huddle. That's really up to you guys. It's going to be one more. Ask us, what about Sandy Koufax? Okay, greatest left-handed.
Obviously, I wasn't alive when he was playing.
I wasn't either. Not when he was playing. I've seen the videos, the films of him. The best left-handed pitcher when I was growing up was Steve Carlton, and for years, when Nolan Ryan broke Walter Johnson's strikeout record, Carlton broke it the next week, and then Ryan broke it the next week, and then Carlton broke it the next week, and they went back and forth, I think almost until Carlton retired, and Ryan pitched for another 75 years, but he was the best.
Modern era, and Clayton Kershaw probably the best lefty like in recent times.
Yeah, sure.
Bumgarner's got a postseason record.
Well, I would tell you that that's just currently. I would say in the last 20 years, Randy Johnson, the most dominant lefty that I saw. And Glavine was great. What, he went 325 games, something like that. Thanks to all our guests today. Thanks to Cade Wozniak, Playboy Marty, and Paul O'Neill. For Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for AFR. That's next here, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Get me to a yes.
Hangin' with Hester.